Alrighty. Everyone grab your bingo sheets and all that. We are going into round 3 of the Castle Age bracket of the Blair Community Cup. Uh, Southpaw on casting with me again today.
Let's go.
One or two things before we get started. Yeah, number one, bingo sheet. There is still a base gamer extension up for grabs. If you manage to fill out a bingo sheet, I think I've been trying to track it. I think I may have missed some stuff, but we haven't had a bingo sent in yet, so feel free to try and grab that. Second, exclamation mark feedback in chat to get a link to the feedback sheet for the tournament. If everyone that could fill those out, that'd be great. Both for if you want to see different maps, or more maps, or less maps, or if you want to ban Siege Ram next tournament because we had way too much of that this game. There's that. You also get to vote for an MVP of your bracket, I believe. So yeah, exciting stuff. Go ahead and do that if you haven't yet. And third, and this is more of a side note, I do have BTTV emotes on this channel, so if you have the BTTV extension for Twitch, that kind of opens up the emotes you can spam in chat. All right, we are going to get into our first set of the day, which is Teutonic Knights versus Longbow Men, for which I do believe we have a map draft. Ah, perfect. And to my knowledge, the admin pick was not played this time, but actually the way it was originally intended, each team played a home map. So as far as I'm aware, we're going to start on Hun Akare and then go to Hillforge from there.
Excellent.
Yeah. Let's hop on over. Ah, dang it. Too many programs open, as per usual. And we can start in 3, 2, 1, go. All right. We are back once again on Hun Akare, probably the most popular map of this tournament, to be honest. I think it's been in just about every single set, which is pretty sweet to see. On the left of the map, we have the Teutonic Knights. In the north, Bismarcking playing as the Japanese. I believe Bismarcking was standing in for Teutonic Knights for this set. And yeah, I was gonna say where are these llamas coming from, but then I was like, okay, it's just the generated sheep. There's like tracking was like, are there Incas somewhere or something? All right. So yeah, Japanese have strong tanky fishing ships especially, and really good infantry and spears, but also Yasama towers can be really nice. So curious to see what we get out of Bismarcking here. Uh, in the pocket, Fire Phoenix also with a lot. There's so many llamas, man. I don't know. I don't feel like I've noticed this on any Akare map before. Fire Phoenix playing as a Byzantines, very possibly planning to boom up a bit, and then we'll see what the approach is. I'm thinking cavalry right now, but we'll see. And in the south flank, Thalion playing as the Teutons. The Teutons are Thalion's favorite civ, and what we usually see her do is boom up and go paladin. So that would be my initial guess, but there's a decent chance we'll see Teutonic Knights or something. So yeah.
All right, yeah. Looking on the other side, we've got Nimi playing as the purple and going Hindustanis. So already I'm kind of seeing a little bit of a counter pick versus the Teutons. The Hindustanis do not have knights. However, they have the strongest camels in the game, which are a great anti-cavalry unit. And if the Teutons or any other civ goes infantry, the Hindustanis also have the longest, like they have the ability to have the longest range hand cannoneers in the game, which are a great anti-infantry unit. Yeah, so I'm curious to see how those armies kind of clash together. Playing in the pocket is Tereg as the Gajaras, so another top tier camel civ. So unique thing about the Gajars, they start with 2 berry bushes underneath their town center, and fun note about them is if you can garrison your sheep, llama, whatever, pigs, turkey, whatever generation the map gives you into your mill, and they'll provide a slow trickle of food. So not sure we're going to see that from Tereg this time around, but it is still nice to have that extra bonus with the extra berries underneath the TC. And then playing in the top flank in the red, as the Vikings, is Alpha Grip Enjoyer. Yeah, well known longboat lover. So obviously that makes him my friend because I love longboats myself. So with this narrow stretch of water, if all goes according to plan, I wouldn't be surprised if we see some longboats from him to try to help kind of lock down that shallows.
Yeah.
But then, cool. I mean, Vikings have a great economy. They get wheelbarrow and handcart for free upon reaching feudal and castle. So their economy is just going to be working faster and more efficiently. So, yeah, exciting to see how this game plays out. So Bismarcking is a member of the which team was it? The Berserks, right? I think he's filling in, is what you said, for Teutonic Knights because they were a
He's
player
filling in.
down.
I don't remember what team he's on initially. I'd have to double.
I'm pretty sure, you know, he was on the Berserks
Yep.
team. So similar to like we saw Nimi from round 1 fill in for Teutonic Knights as well. So now they get to be adversaries instead of allies. So curious to see if we'll see some insider, insider insight from.
Ooh, villager getting spits here, but we'll survive. You can check off multiple sheep taken under the TC if that's on your big. I don't remember if it.
Yep, I think Fire Phoenix as well as.
Oh, and Scout dying to TC right there as well. As Alpha Grip Scout gets a little bit away from him and dies to Bismarcking's Castle Fire or TC Fire.
I mean, who needs scouting these days anyway, right?
True. It is. I'm not sure if this map was played on Explored or not.
I think
it looks like it was. Yeah. Yeah. And so even just based off of the little elevation that each TC stands on, you can tell where your enemy position is. Hang out. I think Nimi lost a Ville to the. He's at a 0-1 KD, and I think he's gonna lose another one. Oh boy, it's gonna be close.
Oh.
Close on 6 HP.
Oh. Garrison.
Oh, it makes it away. Well done. Well done. Still needs more villagers to help take down the spore soon.
I mean, what we were talking about just not too long ago, earlier today. Like even the best of us lose.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we've seen this in Imperial bracket as well. So you know, it happens. But it's never ideal when it happens. It's never something you want happening. As Bismarck was for forward barracks.
Ooh.
Yeah, Drushy.
And we've got the dock from Alpha Grip. So curious to see which comes up. So Bismarcking is on his way up to feudal age. So classic MO has been going just to feudal archer rush. So I kind of suspect we'll see that again. Yeah, I'm curious to see how Alpha Grip weathers that.
Yeah, in the south, meanwhile, it looks like Thalion is planning to wall up and boom and or defend as we have full palisades coming down. And it looks like most of, or all of Team Teutonic Knights is actually up to feudal age.
Alright. We've got a fishing ship out for Alpha Grip, so getting a little bit of that extra food economy. And honestly, being on water might help, like if he's getting heavily pressured with archers, having that economy on water.
Yeah,
I think
we've seen that in earlier games where having that water was huge.
Yeah, I think it was actually your set versus who was it? The
Castle Droppers.
Castle Droppers, I think. Yeah, because you were on water and your opposing flank was not, and it kind of showed like you were able to kind of get back into the game quicker.
Yeah.
Because you had that food economy to help supplement.
But yeah, there's the archery range going up from Bismarcking. At the same time, Alpha Grip and Terag do both click up, so all players on the way up to feudal now. There's Bismarcking's scout is just kind of hanging out here, seeing what he can see, I suppose.
Just, causing a little bit of worry and concern in his opponents. Like, why is that scout sitting there?
Well,
like, he's gonna see that I'm on this resource.
That can be helpful if he can move that scout around a bit to see what or where his archers can hit. We actually have a second dock in the north from Alpha Grip as well, which lets him spread out his fishing eco a bit, which is nice, and potentially also help gain water control and or go to this north island. That's his plan, but I guess we'll see soon enough. Alpha Group does already also have a barracks up, which will help his response time when the archers come in, because he doesn't have to build that first. Immediately drop a range. And it looks like he's actually looking for a rush.
Going for that Viking militia. Has a little bit extra HP on it. I believe once hitting feudal
Is
age.
housed.
Like rushing multiple vills. So instead of just sending one vill, like more vills you have on it, faster it'll get up and it'll get that housing problem resolved very quickly.
Yeah, so as feudal age comes in, the HP of the militia is boosted by an extra 16. Still, they're going to be up against archers in a second, which is not ideal. Looks like Alpha Group is also going for some house walls, and well, the archers are kind of scattered. Fletching is coming in. Scout is also on the way. We'll see how this goes. Militia will take out potentially one archer. Okay, looks like Bismarcking is micring now, and might still get the one. Scout is giving chase.
I think he's gonna be fine. So the archer's just a little bit faster.
The archers,
so.
while the archer loops around. But Alpha Grip has a spear. Unfortunately, that gets sniped down quickly. Does get a hit on the scout, which is good. Alpha Grip gonna have to be careful with his vills now, as the archers are in.
Yeah, so I'd love to see like 4 or 5 vills on that archery range just to get it up, because like 2 skirms should be able to kind of hold that off. 2, 3 skirms.
Do like the response though of taking the vills to fight the scout, kill it, which is already helpful. Still, the fighting the archers is going to be a lot more difficult. You need to pull that wood line, I think.
Yeah.
Oh no, and there's a tower here from Fire Phoenix, which actually takes out a fishing ship from Alpha Grip. That's unfortunate.
Ooh. Actually takes away that easy food resource.
Yeah, he sells another one, and he has his fishing in the north, so he's not off water. But it's an expensive thing, as now the archer range does complete, and skirm is queued.
And in the south, we have Nimi. He went for a couple men-at-arms and is about to break through Thalion's wall. And Thalion doesn't have... Yeah, she's went double stable, but it's not clicked up to Castle Age quite
Alright,
yet.
Nimi is through, but okay, he does click his army forward. I was gonna say, still hitting the wall. And the nice thing about having some men-at-arms here is that as Scout almost dies to spear, still the men-at-arms can engage against the spears, which will just force it back. Archers are coming back on the north, though. Alpha Grip does have 2 skirms with 3 more in queue. But we'll have to be careful with his Econite. He does have more wood lines in the south, so he can retreat from the north without being off of wood. And yeah, the skirms are already finding value. Snipe one of the archers.
That's some nice micro from Bismarcking, and having fletching is really helping his kind of advantage a little bit. But 3 skirms out now. Kind of locking down his base a little bit, so like he's able to tick wood safely now. His farmers are still working, so it's doing relatively okay.
Yep, the archers are hanging out in the north, but they can't really find a lot of damage. And in the south?
Yeah. Nimi just kind of looping around trying to find some damage. Didn't see anybody on gold for Thalion up north, so since it is explored, probably has a good idea that down in the south is where the gold is to be found.
Yeah, and he also sniped another couple spears that came in. And he's on the berries. We'll find some damage here potentially, at least forcing a good amount of eco off. Now has to be careful not to run under that TC. Yeah. Ooh, pulling back.
This is why I never go for a rush. It's because I always have this happen to me. Where like I look back and then all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Yeah. So at this point, like Thalion probably would want to delete her tower. Like.
It looks like some of Alpha Grip's skirms in the north got cleared up. He does have a couple more, but the numbers are low, and actually the scout from Tarak dies running it.
Yeah, so the biggest thing is like skirms was the right choice. I think it was just a lack of fletching that really hurt the most.
Well, and at this point it's snowballing by numbers.
Yeah, getting the armor as well. So like there's 8 archers here, like 4 or 5 skirms with.
Yeah. Oh, and Alpha Grip's getting the infantry upgrade. So he has scale mail and forging, but he needs fletching and padded archer armor skirms to.
Ooh,
benefit from
this is the
those.
look in the very center. Very center. Nimi's already on stone in the
Ooh.
center. I think that's the earliest I've seen someone go to the stone. That's very interesting. I kind of like it, but also he's got stone in his base. That would have saved a lot of walk time. But I guess
Potentially,
later in the game, like you do deny that from your bonus.
Yeah, Bismarcking is up to Castle Age now, though.
And in the pockets, so we have both have Terek and Fire Phoenix just kind of slowly but surely just kind of building their economies up. Relatively untouched for now.
Yeah, ranges are coming up from Terag, though, so probably looking to help out, as Fletching is coming in from Alpha Group now, which will help his scrims a lot in these engagements. And might even get a skirm with or a scout with a TC. Not quite.
Yeah, so I think as soon as Fletching comes in, those skirms should be able to take
Yeah,
a
although
really good
crossbow is
engagement.
going to come in a second.
And Bismarck has been doing a really good job of microing.
Yeah.
So like you can take.
Yeah, the
take
skirms
good
are still
fights.
finding good damage, but the numbers are still so much in favor of the crossbows right now. And so they'll find
just...
a few snipes still, but it's just the snowball that's looking out. Do manage to snipe the scout from Fire Phoenix over here. But you're gonna have to pull off this goal.
Some exciting walls coming down from Nimi. It looks like he's trying to make an M, I believe, with his base. A nice little M shape down at the bottom.
Interesting.
You know, got a wall with flare.
Got to keep it fancy, and a forward siege workshop coming down from Bismarcking.
So,
alright, we have spears here from Terag. Those are gonna get microed down by the crossbows as well. They will get a couple hits in at least, but not enough. That I do like tower from Alpha Group, because that even just one tower will do a lot to dissuade those crossbows from pushing and kind of lets them continue to stay on the wood. Although the pathing from the villagers keeps.
Yeah, I was about to say it's a bit unfortunate though, because his lumber camp's on the other side of the wood line, and so he's just able to.
Yeah.
So this is a point where you want to garrison like 4 or 5 vills into your tower, and then just get a couple of good volleys on the crossbow.
We do have more skirms now from several players, and managing to kind of push these crossbows back a little bit. So the team is coming together to push these crossbows back, which is good to see.
Yeah, and despite the pressure on Alpha Group, the longbowmen still have a vill advantage.
Yeah.
And Alpha Group doing okay because he does have 5 fishing ships on food. So
6 even. There's one more in the south still.
Oh, very nice. Yeah, so able to kind of keep that economy rolling despite having all the pressure. Alright. Let's see here. Thalion is up to castle and is doing a good job of keeping the night production up. We're already at 7 knights with 6 more in queue.
Oh. So.
Which I think Nimi has a couple scouts and 1 spear, but beyond that, like he doesn't.
That's about it. He is on his way up to Castle Age, and he will be walled, which will buy him a bit of time. A ram coming forward. Multiple rams coming forward now. This will make it more difficult. You're gonna wanna. Skirms have high ground now against the crossbows, but alright, Bill's engaging against the ram. Take it down.
Yeah. Bismarck is just doing a really good job of just using his range advantage to gain to win those fights. So yeah, Clisper, you had the right answer. I think it was just the upgrades early on that kind of did you in a little bit. So getting fletching and armor on your skirms right off and waiting till you have about 5 to engage. Once you're there, I think you would have won that first set. And just you kind of have to keep your skirmishers clumped up like in box formation. That way they don't just kind of spread out and you lose a little bit of that DPS.
Does manage to take down these 2 rams though. Forward Castle now coming to his marking, but he's again been pushed back for the moment. In the south, Nimi has reached the Castle Age.
And Nimi's sending in his scouts to kind of help assist against the crossbows. He does not have any armor on them yet, so those scouts will probably go down fairly quickly. I would like to see a little bit more coordination with Terek, so like Terek's army's coming in with the skirmishers.
Yeah.
It's just Nimi scouts came in just a tad bit too soon.
Yep. Now Alpha Grip skirms are on the way as well.
Go.
Okay. Ooh, but the skirms don't want it. Don't want to hit the ram with the skirms.
No, not the rams. Not the
hit the
rams.
crossbows. Hit the crossbows.
Oh,
That's unfortunate.
Fun story, if you didn't know, are like range units will, if they're not being controlled, will automatically fire at siege units first before other land military. So,
Which is
having
terrible because our ranged units do basically nothing to siege, but same with the TC now firing on this, and all the skirms are still firing at this ram. Need to take this ram down. This ram needs to go down.
the Vil snipe from Nimi.
Yeah.
Castle's not going up. Ooh, and we have a lot of knights in Nimi's base currently.
Ooh, yeah, I think this TC is dead. Second armor is in, and I mean the castle's not even garrisoned. And Nimi's focus is still in the north, where I think Alpha Grip is about to lose his starting TC.
Yeah, I don't think Nimi noticed. Or maybe he did.
Well, he has camels, but, well, just one camel, I guess.
And that's 14 knights with +2 armor and the first attack upgrade, so
Yeah.
you need quite a few camel to be able to contest that, and I don't see that happening.
And the knights are killing villagers everywhere now. And yeah, Nimi's still trying to defend in the north, dropping a castle more defensively. If the crossbows find this, that's an... I mean, there are some skirms here. A good number of skirms, actually, which will definitely help.
Oh, and kind of walks right into it, so a couple of crossbows are going down.
Yeah, and he'll be pushed back, and I think this castle will go up. However, the knights in the south are still there. Now, the knights are engaging against the skirms first, so the camels will get in some good hits. But I think the army number is still just, again, too high with the knights. And, and the crossbows are back in the north. Ooh, we might have a doubt castle here. 96, 97, 98. We have a certified doubt castle.
We have a doubt castle.
Oh, that is unfortunate. A lot of things just going wrong by a little bit here for longbowmen. But, you know, good job for Teutonic Knights taking advantage of that. And
really aggressive game. I liked the coordination. Like, Nimi got some nice pressure in on Thalion, but just was really late to getting up to castle and just kind of fell behind. And then
I believe that GG has been called at this point.
I think it was the upgrades that really did it on the north side.
Yeah, I think it was the upgrades, and I think Bismarcking got a bit of a timing advantage on Alpha Grip. Yeah,
well, that's the thing with, like, when you go skirms, you can be at a disadvantage though, right? Because, like,
you
don't need as many skirms to fight archers. It's just you have to have the resources to get the armor and the extra range, which he wasn't able to do. So
yeah, and it can be hard when you're behind like that on the flank position, being pressured to find the time to balance your eco to get the upgrades that you need. So.
It's probably one of the shortest games of this tournament that I've seen so far.
I think so, yeah.
Ooh, Elephant Archers was a good choice from Tarek. Like, it was just a little bit too late, but...
Yeah, I mean, earlier Castle Age, that was also an unfortunate timing for you, Alpha Grip, because, he got crossbow like a couple, you had just gotten fletching and were able to engage, and then right as you moved to that engagement, his crossbow came in. Which was an unfortunate timing for you. Because if that gap had been just like a few seconds earlier, you could have already done a lot more damage to those crossbows. Whew. Gotta try to not fall out of my chair. But, well played. Good job, Teutonic Knights there. Definitely came in with a solid plan, it looks like. And hold on. Yeah, okay, so this was played on Explored.
Okay.
And yeah, if you look at the APN, Bismarck going wild with the micro the entire time. All
Yeah, all
right.
that little bit of Archer micro the whole time. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's well played.
All right. So that is map 1 on Erike. To be fair, this was also Teutonic Knight's home map. Next up, we will move on to Hill Forts. Yeah.
Another one we've seen a fair number of times in the council
Yes.
bracket so far, and even in the
Yeah.
imperial bracket too. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
been a highly played one.
Yep. All right.
All right, I am at second 7. Whenever you're ready.
7. All right. Then starting in 3, 2, 1, go.
All right. As we load in here, we have the Longbowmen in the east. Playing as the top flank position, we have it looks like Alpha Grip, kind of playing the same similar positioning. He went for the Mongols, so potentially we'll see some Mangadai, potentially Hussar. You have the ability to kind of boom up a little bit and get your castles up in time. I think we saw someone. I think it was someone on the Chukunu team went Mongols on this map as well. Did fairly well with them.
Yep.
And then playing in the pocket, we've got Tereg playing as the Huns, so doesn't have to build houses, which is super handy. And has great access to cavalry and cav archers. Their stables work faster as a team bonus, which would help Nimi and Alpha Grip with their probably preferred unit composition. Nimi playing as the Franks, one of the best paladins in the game, and I think we've seen Franks on this map a couple times.
Yep.
And I think the speculation was just because their farms get those free upgrades. Because you don't have the berries, you don't gain advantage of the berry bonus of the Franks, but the other economic upgrades definitely help regardless of that.
Yep.
So yeah, kind of expecting to see some knights maybe somehow in late game.
You think we'll see throwing axemen?
Ooh, that would be pretty cool. Way to throw that one out there.
Yeah. On the other side, Lethalion playing as the flank as the Huns as well, so we got a mirror matchup going on. In the pocket, Fire Phoenix as the Khmer. Yes, really good civilization. The Ballista Elephant is the logo of our community, so, way to represent. And would you go for Ballista Elephant on this map?
If I got to them, they are really strong. I mean,
Okay.
think of the number of games where we've seen where there's been walls in between the tree lines, and then just battles are fought in like a really centralized area. And the Ballista Elephants with those like scorpion projectiles can be really strong.
So if you get those concentrated fights, and maybe once you're in the late game to afford that, maybe go scouts or something, knights earlier until you have the eco to the point.
Yeah, like even just like walling off that side and then just push down the middle, I think could be really good.
Yep. That seems reasonable. And then on the other flank, we have Bismarcking as the Bohemians. This is a civ that we saw banned a whole lot in Imperial Age. As I look, I get that this mining camp is sort of close to both stone and gold, but it's actually close to neither.
Well, I guess that argument could be made for like the one gold tile it's close to.
Yeah.
But
I look, I want it one tile closer to the gold or one tile closer to the stone.
I mean, obviously the gold would.
Well,
be
obviously the gold right now because that's where you're going, right? But in general, anyways, Bohemians, more of an archer civ. Well, archer infantry. They have gunpowder access in Castle Age earlier, so their Castle Age hand cannons can be really nice. And they also can get to bombard cannon much faster since they already have chemistry researched in Castle Age. They also get Hoofnies, the bombard cannons with AoE attack, which are incredibly expensive but also devastating if you can get to them. And Hussite war wagons are super interesting in that they can essentially they're really good at tanking ranged unit fire, and can sort of protect the units behind them, and have decent attack of their own. Um, However, I do believe Mangadai will shred war wagons if it comes
They
to that
will.
matchup, despite Mangadai being a ranged unit.
However, the Bohemians have a really large attack bonus with their halbs against cavalry civs, or like cavalry units, and all of the longbowmen have cav civs.
That is true.
So it's going to be a little bit of an advantage there.
Yeah, so if Bismarcking chooses to go Halb, that'll be great. Based off of what we've seen from him this tournament, he's been leaning heavy into archery units, I'm pretty sure. So I'm curious to see if he looks at the civs and decides to switch that up.
Yeah, I think this is the first like more closed style map that I've seen him play on. So I'm curious if he's just going to go into the Castle Age first before building the feudal army.
Now we do have Alpha Group has already moved out to the back for a lumber camp and has 2 sheep here. I don't know if he accidentally tasked those outside or if Thalion managed to steal those and then those got stopped by the wood line. However, Thalion's scout is looking at this, and we just had Bismarcking's scout come forward but get pushed back by some militia, so defended for the moment. And actually, Terag is out in the back as well with a mill. So yeah,
Oop,
Team
oop.
Longbowmen moving out early.
Oh no, you had a teammate muted in this game, Cliff? That is
Oh.
unfortunate.
That is, yeah. I do like the
I feel
house
like
walls
that
coming up.
happens quite a lot in our community. Like where like we mute ourselves and then think we're unmuted and talk an entire game, and then until afterwards they realize, like they check Discord and like, oh no, I've been muted this whole game, and then they're like, that's why nobody listened to what I was saying.
Yeah. Yep. That can be devastating. I do like the approach here from Alpha Group to again wall kind of close off this section a bit. He has this forward sneak mill, which I think unfortunately the scout for him, the scout from Thalion has seen. Well, it's seen the farm.
Ooh.
It's seen the farm, which doesn't show up as a dot on the mini map. So this sneak mill might still be safe. I suppose we'll
Super
see.
sneaky. I
And
like it.
Alpha Group's own
The
scout
scout is.
also moving out to do some scouting.
Yeah, I was about to say, Thalion scout is just chilling right over there. Though,
Yeah,
so
well, but even with Feudal Age coming in, it doesn't see the mill.
yeah.
So
And we have feudal age coming in for Bismarcking and actually the entire Teutonic Knight team.
yeah,
However, feudal age was almost completely in for the longbowmen as well.
Yep.
And I do like the little wall off here that Bismarcking is doing with his barracks and his house.
and dropping a blacksmith afterwards. Yeah, I was gonna say let's see if he places an archer range again, but choosing to go for the blacksmith first. Is a bit tight on wood at the moment, so maybe opting to get that cheaper building. So he's already got one of his Castle Age buildings. But yeah, we'll see what happens after that.
Go, and we've got Fire Phoenix is relatively close to Castle Age. Already has 600 food in the bank. Just not on gold yet, so that would help just kind of speed that process up. And on the longbowman side, Nimi's kind of flirting with it a little bit. He's about 500 food, so just about 300 off, but he has 400 gold. So
Yeah, it does
once
not.
that mark
Yeah,
gets up,
missing both buildings. As is Fire Phoenix for that matter.
though Fire Phoenix is the Khmer, so Khmer can advance
True.
without needing the buildings. So it looks like Nimi just went really heavy on farms, and so I think that's part of the reason why he's suffering for wood.
Mm.
Which, I mean, you kind of have to go heavier on farms because of the lack of berries.
Yes.
It's kind of a tricky balance to find of like having enough on farms to be able to get your castle time good, but not having too many that you can't get the buildings up that you need.
Ooh, we have archery ranges coming up from Alpha Grip. So potentially looking at either pushing with range or just having those ready if he gets pushed again, which is either way a good move, I think. Market now up from Bismarcking, so potentially just going straight into Castle Age without trying any forward pressure this time. Yeah, and he's actually the first one to click up. And a stable, which will be a second building, after which he's, well, 100 food off. Still doesn't have a market, so won't be able to buy his way up. But, in the north, though, the sneak corner lumber camp has been discovered by a wolf, which will eventually go down to the Ville.
Super sneaky. Got that.
A single villager. I wonder if that's actually a sneak lumber camp, or if this is just a like, okay, chop wood there until I'm ready to come back and build a sneak forward base with you.
I mean, we saw this from Thalion before, though, on this map. Remember, she had that forward ville that built the lumber camp and then walled it in.
Right.
And then eventually cut through. So maybe this is a strategy we should look into and consider a little bit.
The forward lumber camp meta is. Yeah, true.
Yeah, it worked last game for him, so why not again?
True. Castle Age on the way for Nimi, as well as the rest of Teutonic Knights.
Go. Ville advantage heavily in favor of Longbowmen currently. So they're up a good 16 vills, and...
That is true, but there's a lot of Castle Age time in that. And it looks like militia line upgrades are coming in for Bismarcking, so looking at going infantry.
Okay.
While fletching comes in for Alpha Grip, so ranged units. And I mean, I like that, right? Especially even if you're defending with skirms. If you're going long-term Mangadai, you'll also need the archery range upgrade. So it makes a lot of sense, this composition. But yeah, second TC, Bismarcking.
The only thing is I would delay the upgrade just a little bit until you click up to castle, and then you can get those upgrades.
Yeah, that's true.
Just to kind of speed up your process a little bit more, but doesn't look like it's going to have too major of effect currently.
Yep, we do have a little bit of a scout chase going on here. Nimi's scout trying to catch Bismarcking's scout, who is already weakened. And between that and the Frankish HP bonus, this is not a fight that Bismarcking can take. And I believe, I don't know if it's just the pathing or if Nimi's scout is actually faster. No, they're the same speed, it's just the pathing. Alright, second TC also coming down for Nimi now. And Castle Age on the way for Alpha Grip.
Alright, so we have the bottom flanks going for more of the economic boom approach. So 2 TCs from Bismarcking, slowly just climbing with those Ville numbers, and maybe we'll probably
and actually early trade being set up from Bismarcking. Already got 4 trade cards out. Which I don't know that like at this point that feels like a much bigger investment than it's worth. But maybe it'll pay off long term. As now, ooh, the scout comes home. Does go down to the enemy scout, which takes some hits from the castle fire, and Nimi will get some information. And actually manages to dodge the remaining volleys from the TC. So this scout could get really annoying from Bismarcking. This is also a weakened villager.
Ooh.
Oh.
You know, just we need to find a way to convert Nimi into a micro nerd where he'll just sit with that scout inside the base the entire game and just
he could also be chasing these trade cards. He was just on 2 of them because like the vills at this point can fight back the weakened scout. The trade cards cannot. But good job from Nimi running around the bases, finding as much information as he can on what his opponents are doing. We'll see the Siege Workshop coming up from Fire Phoenix.
And Fire Phoenix dropping her second TC in the back on the stone and wood. Nice, safe position. And third TC coming up for both Bismarcking and Nemi. So,
Interesting. Alpha Grip dropped a sneak TC in the north where Thalion has her sneak base set up.
oh, this is amazing. It's like they were teammates last year and just
Yeah,
kind of
however,
know the way each other think.
this may go very poorly for Alpha Grip, who probably just going to lose all 3 villagers here because Thalion does have a couple of knights.
That is highly unfortunate.
Now, because the TC is behind full walls from Thalion, if Alpha Grip notices this in time and Thalion is busy otherwhere, he might be able to turn those vills around and run them home.
But we do have a knight moving out from
Yep,
Thalion,
yep.
so
Uh-oh.
not. Oh well, it's like she heard us and
Yep.
decided to move that knight around into a
Oh
better position.
no. Oh, these are. There's a second knight. Yeah, these 3
Uh,
villagers are dead, I think. Oh,
how unfortunate.
that's
Oh, nice
information, but
response,
it's
but
expensive information. No, they're going to chop some wood. Oh no.
oh, unfortunate.
That does give information on this north sneak base, but at quite the price, unfortunately, as we have stone walls coming down from Bismarcking in front of this TC and a castle, so setting up a defense of this flank here.
Okay, so we're seeing a little bit of a different side of Bismarcking. So instead of just the heavy feudal pressure, we're getting to see a little bit more of the economic approach, and currently has the Ville High, with Nimi following close behind. The main difference is it does look like Nimi does have some army. He's got 6 knights on the field,
Yep.
Which this 6 knights. Go forward, see if you can find any early damage to be had.
Yep. There is a monk here from Bismarcking, but just the one, so the knights should be able to snipe that down. Alpha Grip will opt for a defensive TC as the wolf proceeds to attack the knights. That is a good number of knights from Thalion. And having
Look in between. Oh, they're moving out now. I was about to say, look in between Terags and Alpha Grit space.
that's a good
Terag
number.
has,
There you go, 12 spears. I would like to see Pike from him. I think in these numbers, these current numbers, the spears will do pretty well against the knights, but if you get those to pikes, they'll just rip the knights to pieces. Which have no upgrades. Well, they have 1 armor. Forward castle though from Fire Phoenix. And yeah, it looks like this will be defensive for the moment. Nimi does have knights here as well though, so if the knights and spears together engage against Thalion's knights, this should be definitely a fight in favor of longbowmen.
which I think now that you scouted that base, like that would be. I'd like to see maybe those knights just kind of utilized to see if you can pressure it. Forward castle coming down for Fire Phoenix and then an additional one for Bismarcking. So laying down the castles to kind of protect the front aspect of the base, and another one from Thalion. So very nice defensive fortifications coming up for the Teutonic Knights.
Yep. On the other side, we have house wall. I do like this house wall here from Alpha Grip in the north between the 2 woodlines. It doesn't like close it off completely, but it does mean that this gold can't just be easily hit, especially from the north where you know those knights are. So it'll provide an early warning system and probably let these 2 vills get away.
We've got some production buildings down in the south coming from Nimi, so it looks like he's dropping. I'll have a total of 6 stables. I'd like to see that more production. You can just get those units out quicker.
And once again, walling on the outside of his palisades, which provides that extra layer of protection, but doesn't take away that valuable space he has in the center.
Very nice. Overall, just a relatively quiet game so far, beyond the sneak base.
Yeah, we do have chemistry coming in for Bismarcking, as well as multiple siege workshops going up, so I'm guessing Bismarcking actually wants to go Hoofnice here. Now the question is, what does he do to support that? Because while Hoofnice are very strong, if they're on their own, they're easily sniped by cavalry.
I would expect to see like Pike Pal
Probably.
unit choice. I mean, that's kind of the standard choice.
Yeah, yep. Pike is coming in right now.
There you go.
And another TC being dropped here by Terag.
And alright, so I'm sure we'll start seeing Imp come in here relatively soon for a couple players. It looks like Bismarck is just lacking a little bit of the food, but did just queue up a couple more
Now,
vills and another upgrade, so that food is now gone.
Alpha Grip has gone Cav Archers and Camels, and this is good, I think, because Cav Archers on one hand are kind of the earlier step to get to Mangudai, but Camel will also counter the Knights, which he knows are on the field. So that's a good addition there, I think. And he will also drop a castle here, which will protect his gold.
Do you like it? And the third TC coming down for Terag in the front.
Yep.
It's kind of securing that extra gold location.
And then the south,
So,
relics being secured by Bismarcking.
very nice, very nice. Yeah, kind of getting that like late game situation set up where when gold runs out, you've got a little bit of trade and you have that extra relic gold.
I think Bismarcking could and should click up.
Ooh, we have the Knights coming forward from Thalion. So they're going to run right into the Knights from Nimi and the Camels from Alpha
Yeah,
Group. So
and
expect
yeah, look at that.
those
They ran
Knights are
themselves
gonna
into a
go
dead
down.
end. And the Camel can
Which-
engage, the Cav Archers behind as well. Even the Militia and the Spearmen are trying to get in on this. Like, hey, we're here to fight as well, you guys.
I think that's actually probably the best case scenario for Thalion because the whole army cannot engage.
Maybe, but they are
Nearly as
the
well.
first units they're engaging against are the Camels, which are okay to go down, and at the same time, there's more and more Cav Archers behind. Like this is a full clear up at the cost of 5 Camels and 2 Knights. You lost 10 Knights, so it's still a really good fight for Longbowmen. And yeah, Cav Archer numbers climbing for Alpha Grip, up to 7 now, and we still have. I don't think, yeah. Yeah,
We've seen
Nimi
how
lost 1
effective
Knight
Cav
in this
Archers-
entire fight, so.
Yeah, and we've seen how effective Cav Archers have been on this map. It's a couple different games, so I think it's a really strong unit composition. Might struggle a little bit versus like the siege of
Marauders
Bohemians?
coming in. Might see Tarkins here.
Ooh, that would be relatively difficult for Cav Archers to deal with. Tarkins have so much pierce armor. I think they have a 9 pierce armor when they're fully upgraded.
Yeah, however, Mangudai are in queue. We
I
have
mean,
one
Manga
ready.
are still gonna struggle with it though, right? They're essentially a Cav Archer. They
Yeah.
just fire faster.
Potentially,
do
but
okay,
between the
but, like, you
Mangudai and the
have to fight
Knights,
for them.
Wagenburg tactics coming in, which will make the chemistry units move faster, I believe. So this is for the Hoofnies for Bismarcking, who's on the way to Imperial, as is Nimi. And I like this castle from Nimi. It's on the hill. It's securing your base. It's securing the stone behind. Very good. Very nice. And forward castle as
Okay.
well from Terag. This one I'd like to see a little bit more forward. And a second castle from Alpha Grip. So we'll have a line of castles to.
But you know, Tarag's castle is a little bit on that hill, so he's gonna gain the
Yep.
defensive. Like, Age of Empires is so weird, but like because it's on the hill, it counts as being elevated, versus like
Yep. It
if
is.
he was two
It does
tiles
have
over.
some elevation at least. Yep. And
Imperial Age coming in for Nimi and for Thalion.
multiple,
Bismarcking is here.
yeah, multiple barracks being dropped by Terag. So actually potentially looking at going infantry or even like Halb. And siege. He has a lot of siege out. We have 5 Mangonels and 4 Rams waiting in the wings back here.
Ooh. Just a nice strong push up the middle, and we do have Ballista Elephants from Fire Phoenix, so starting to mass up in that forward castle there.
Yeah, look at all these castles being dropped by Longbowmen now, though. It's a whole line of
That is-
castles around their base.
1, 2. I would like to see that second castle actually where the stone and gold are, and kind of in front of your T, like forward.
Who's
TT.
second castle?
Nimi's. Like, so instead of building them so close together, like build it where that stone and gold is, just to kind of lock down that aspect of the map a little bit more. One thing we haven't seen come in yet for the Bohemians is Fervor. It's the monk technology that makes your monks walk faster. However, the Bohemians, their villagers benefit from that upgrade as well. So you could have, 15% faster walking villagers, which really is a nice economic boost.
Yeah, and the same goes for Sanctity as well, which boosts monk HP, and in that case also villager HP. Ooh, and I think this is a
And
forward castle attempt from Bismarcking. Has some halbs here. But
no castles.
Cavalier is in. It's and
That's a lot of
there's
helps though.
ooh, that is a lot. Oh, and hand cannons as well. Oh no, Nimi has to abandon this castle.
It's not gonna go up, I don't
I
think.
don't. Nope, absolutely not. He's trying to force it down, but there's so many here. Poldeville's back to the castle.
Does click Paladin. Oh, he's building behind, and Bismarck. He's not tasking those builds. Oh, he deletes the foundation. I mean, it makes his sense. Like you're losing that position, and Bismarck is building the castle right where I thought Nimi needed his second castle.
Yeah.
Like it's
Yeah.
such an important spot because there's that stone and gold that because it's not secured, like you're losing access to that quickly. Whereas like his second castle, what does it protect?
Yeah. Yeah. Halb is now coming in for Nimi as well, but that's gonna struggle against the hand cannon here. So it's gonna be difficult for Nimi to push this back at them.
Yeah, it is getting Halab of his own, but I would like to see him wait until he gets Paladin. Like, you know that upgrade's coming in. It is a long wait, but like, Bismarcking isn't like pressuring any of your like major economy. So just kind of hold back until you get the upgrades in that you want, and that way you can take a much better fight. Because just like that, most of his cavalry are gone.
Yep. And even the Halb on their own will struggle with the amount of hand cannons that Bismarcking has behind this.
Yep.
Big fight. Eco numbers and military numbers still in favor of longbowmen, but this is some pressure that that Nimi is facing now. Paladin is in. He's massing numbers behind again a bit, adding skirms, which is going to do well against the Halb and against the hand cannon, so that's definitely the correct addition there. So we have Marauders coming in for Terag as well.
Yeah, and you're kind of seeing why Bohemians was banned a lot.
Yep.
Their Halb are so strong versus cavalry, and you see a lot of cav in team games. And then the Hoofnies are ridiculously strong.
Yeah, I'd like to see these Paladin dive the Hoofnies though. They could have they'll engage against the Halbs. They could have got the Halbs are a bit out of position. The Hoofnies are back there, so you could dive back and take those out, and that's, you know, buys you a lot of time, and it's a very expensive loss. Hoofnies are not cheap.
Ooh, in the north we have the Cav Archers moving out from Alpha Crypt to engage that forward base, but runs into some Paladin and decides against it.
Yeah, we do also have more Paladin up here from Nimi that he could bring into the fight. And it looks like these Paladin will be baited into this mass of pikes and knights from Terag. So nice little switch
Clear
there,
up there
and
for
yeah, some of the Paladin will get away, but that's a reasonably good fight there. And actually, Ville's moving up north. What is Alpha Group planning here?
Ooh, is he gonna try to place a castle on that hill?
He doesn't quite have the stone for it yet.
We could just buy a little bit, but
Potentially. And the Mangadai are here now. This is 24 Cav Archer and Mangadai, so this is a formidable amount of military. Ooh, and a lot of siege moving out. It looks like, look at this combined army from Terag and Alpha Rip though, and Elite Mangadai is on the way as well.
That is a scary army.
Yeah, and in the south, Nimi has gone all skirms, which is probably the correct choice here. I could still add some light cav or something to try and snipe these Hoofnies, but...
But the Hoofnies are just dealing so much damage to the skirm. Like,
yeah, and that's why, I mean, you need stagger formation on the skirms, right? So the Hoofnies don't do as much, and you need to try and snipe those with cavalry. We do have some Paladin coming in as, ooh, unfortunate. The one that almost made it to them got sniped down by the Hoofnies in the back. And this army in the north still isn't moving out. You gotta start attacking here. Or help defend in the south.
Of units.
That's a lot of idle units, which is
85 armor from Terag. That is scary large army.
Yep.
We've got 87 from Bismarcking too, and heavily pressuring Nimi. So yeah, I think having just even some reinforcements come in where like even Nimi's like 13 paladin, like swinging up from behind and sniping some of those
Yeah,
Hoofmies
and
would
Nimi even still,
significantly
there's
delay that push.
even Nimi has idle army in the north. He's got another 13 paladins sitting there, yeah. And okay, looks like they're getting ready to move out now. Siege is gonna start hitting these walls. It's like Nimi's trying to force down a castle, but it's too close. There's too much military here, and the Hoofnies will also just like stomp that back to the ground. We're up to what, 6 Hoofnies now?
I think so.
Yeah, and you gotta respond to this and try to stop it. At least snipe down the Hoofnies, or else he'll just walk through all the bases.
Yeah, Terry got a lot of exposed fills.
Yeah.
I think those are going to go down pretty quickly. In the north, we have Alpha Grip with his Mangadai Cav Archer combination, kind of just scouting out a little bit more, and I think he's coming back to help support. I think that's the right choice. I think that unit composition is going to be the best to deal with Bismarcking's army.
Yeah. The siege is through in the north walls, but yeah, you could run the knights in now, deny this castle do damage, but it looks like they're gonna go back and help defend.
Yeah, because she got a couple trips forward and took out one of Tereg's castles and is pressuring those support up. So nice kind of swing around pressure while you know that army's in the north and you're walled to push the army back.
Alright. Looks like a lot of the halbs at least went down here. As the main ball of Cav Archers and Mangadai now arrives for Alpha Grip. So this is definitely going to help slow that, and now that all the halbs are down, the knights can engage against all this pretty easily and take it out.
Yeah, like jump on those Hoofnies, like that's really going to delay that push.
Alright, he'll go for the hand cannons first. Good micro there from Alpha Grip to take down just about all the halbs. There's still one or two running around there, but there's scrims here as well. And yeah, Bismarcking is being pushed back now.
Yeah, but Dalian moving forward with her trebs and is about to take out Tereg's second castle. I would like to see Alpha Grip kind of move forward with his Mangadai, maybe just see if he can kind of snipe.
there's Paladin here, there's Pikes. All three players have army right here. All you have to do is delete one tile of this wall here, and you can snipe both of those trebs. They have nothing protecting them, right?
Which I understand. Like there's so much going on at this time. You're trying to deal with the army in your base, you're trying to move forward at the same time.
Yeah, and you are clearing up Bismarck. The scrims are finding good value against the hand cannons. The Hoofnies are slowly being decimated, although they do find one or two more good shots. At least it's against the scrims and not against the gold units. That's better for longbowmen.
I'd like to see a couple trebs queued up from Nimi to push this forward position back.
Next castle's under attack though. And more trebs being rolled forward as well.
Yeah, and that's one of Alpha Grip's production buildings, right?
Yeah.
Like he's not going to be able to produce Mangadai nearly as quickly. Army size is heavily in favor of longbowmen right now, but they're not using a good chunk of it right now, so that advantage is not being utilized.
Yeah, now the Paladin kind of bait out the halbs, which will all get sniped down again by the Mangadai, which is great. But you got to take care of these Hoofnies. They're down to 3, so you already got half of them, but they're finding really big shots against the Mangadai right now. It looks like in the north, some of the Mangadai are also engaging against these trebs. Take out 2 of them, and the other 2 aren't unpacked yet. Alpha Grip did lose a castle, but that'll definitely help stabilize a bit. And yeah, the Paladin in the south will dive on the Hoofnies and take them out, and I think Bismarcking's push should be pretty much stalled out with that, as the Mangadai massive damage to the hand cannons here.
Yeah, it's just they're lacking siege, like couple trebuchets to push these castles back.
Yeah, well, in the north, Alpha Grip has 1 treb out, is building another castle as well. But yeah, now the Tarkins are here.
Ooh, and those Mangadai, there's not enough to really deal well with the number of Tarkins.
Yeah, but they can just range this treb here from Thalion. So I think Thalion's going to lose another treb here. However, oh nope, wall gets treb down, and those Tarkins.
Okay, so 8 pierce armor on those Tarkins. That is a lot of arrows that have to be fired before.
Yep, and Paladin coming in now as well. Now this is between a double castle stack, so still a lot of damage that will be done here. As, oh no, the Mangonels in the south all go down to the castle. Another castle being built here from Nimi though, and this will provide a good trebbing position for him. More Hoofnice rolling forward from Bismarck. Ooh, that's a lot
Yeah.
of castles actually coming down in the south from.
Yeah, but in the north we have Thalion just ran right past the castle wall
Yep.
of Alpha Group and
Yep.
is just nuking his starting
Yeah,
TC.
he has some step lancers here, some Mangudai, which will engage. But that's a lot of dead villagers. Ooh, so many dead villagers. Yeah, and Paladin will be Elite Step Lancer, and I don't. Yeah, these are just normal Step Lancers. There are pikes coming in to help, but most of this eco here has been taken down, which really hurts.
Yeah, and army advantage is now in favor of Teutonic Knights.
And
Ooh,
yeah,
we have Fire Phoenix moving down the center now with the Ballistas and a couple Mangonels. Running
Yep.
kind of into Nimi's Paladins have been chilling there. Maybe that's his plan all along. He was just waiting for the attack
perfect
from the
time to
center.
snipe. All right, and ooh, 4 barracks right here producing pikes as well. Yeah, these Paladin will actually clear up all of this before it finds really any damage at all, which is really nice. However, in the south, castles are being hit by the Hoofnies. And
Yeah,
Bismarcking's army
it's the
numbers are
lack of
back up.
siege.
Yeah. In the back.
Like if that push had like three trebs behind it, I think this forward position would be completely gone at this point.
Oh, there's stables coming up from Alpha Group with a lot of vills, but there's a flood of Paladin coming in as well that will just catch the tail end of it and all automatically go over it. And that's going to be a lot of dead vills for Alpha Group. I'm afraid.
17 vills. Ouch.
And still 2 trebs here. Alpha Group does still have 27 elite Mangudai. But yeah, the vills are down, and flood of Hussar are now being spammed by Thalion. And this whole line of castles from Nimi in the south is going down. Yeah, I think one thing Teutonic Knights did, which really worked well, was they alternated attacks in the far north and far south. And so Longbowmen kept trying to respond, but being pulled out of position for the next fight.
Yeah, it's been almost like a yo-yo effect, right? Like the army advantage has been usually in favor of Longbowmen, but they're spending more time just trying to put out fires than actually moving forward to deal damage. And Thalion did a really good job of kind of walling the north side of the base to kind of slow down that initial push. And you know, the massive army from Bismarcking had to be addressed, and so
yeah, like you can't like. Responding to this army was definitely the right thing to do for Longbowmen. It's just that the additional second army that Thalion had ready to hit while the entire army was in the south just really hurt, and it's been going like that. Now the army is back, I think, mostly in the north for Longbowmen, and in the south, Bismarcking is massing up again. And oh no, a single paladin has found this is still raiding in the back. And he found an entire wood line from Alpha Group and cleared that up.
oh, Alpha Group's down to 5 vills.
It's not good.
That is not pretty.
And there's so many Hussar here now, and Trebs rolling out from Thalion. And yeah, I'm sure part of it was comes from the fact that if one of the teammates was muted and you can't communicate, hey, I'm being pressured, can you help, or can you guys counterattack somewhere? That makes it so much more difficult, right? And part of it, Bohemians, I think, were banned almost. Well, we're actually banned, I want to say, every single set in Imperial Bracket.
They were.
Because of a lot of the things that we're seeing here, right? The Halb, the Hoofnies, the hand cannons, they're all so strong. And it's hard to find a counter to, especially to this combination of units. You really need to mic around to make it work, because this way, as you can see, the light cav could snipe the Hoofnies, but to do that they need to go past the Halbs, which just rip them to shreds. And the Halbs will do fine against the Halbs, but there's hand cannons behind, which will take the Halbs down quickly, and so it's a really nasty combination to deal with.
It really is. Which I am not sure which bonus I hate the most from Bohemians. I think it's the extra attack on their Halbs.
Yeah.
Probably more than the Hoofnies.
Just because you as a cav player.
Maybe so. I mean, maybe. Yeah, it might be it.
Me as an archery player bothers me less that the halbs do more damage to cavalry. I'm like, all right, sounds good to me.
Well, like the hoofbeats are extremely strong.
Yeah.
But if you can't use like the standard counter to siege, which is usually like hussar or like how, then yeah, it's just like it feels like you can't kill it. Which is tough.
Yeah, and to be fair, the halb is probably in the end the more powerful bonus overall, because as powerful as Hoofnies are, it's expensive. You'll never mass them up, but you can just flood out halbs, and you know, having that effect on a unit like that you can just spam out is pretty ridiculous. But yeah, Imp on the way now for Terag. But Longbowmen being kind of pressured on all sides, and Alpha Grip's last couple villagers are under threat by these Tarkans.
Yeah, another raid. Alpha Grip down to 4 vills. That TC is... We're about to have a no TC game in here.
I believe so. Big fight in the north. There are Hussar here which will die to the combination of Pike and Mangadai pretty easily, and I like that a couple of monks added from Alpha Grip which will heal up this Mangadai, and as long as he has a ball of Mangadai, he can still be active in the game. Even if he doesn't have that much eco, that's always going to be a formidable army.
Yeah. And has a couple monks to kind of heal them back up to kind of keep that HP high.
Yeah. More knights here. However, these Tarkans are still around. Alpha Grip is down to 3 villagers. 2 are chopping wood in the center, and 1 is idled on this farm.
Yeah, and look at that blue wave in the north. Like, that is a lot of production happening right now. Alien has 10 stables with Hussar queued up. She has 77 Hussar queued.
Yeah, and
it's a lot of Hussar.
100 population difference between the two teams right now, which is pretty rough. In the south, yeah, there's just more and more Hoofnies, and you can see Nemeus trying to figure out how to counter this, and just having a hard time all around with the constant halbs with hand cannons right behind them.
Yeah, I mean, it's done a good job of trying to mass up, but the halbs are taking such a better fight versus his cav.
Yeah.
That he's just not able to keep his numbers up, and that is a lot of hand cannons.
Yeah, Onager's coming in now, which if you can find some good Onager shots against this hand cannon mass, that'll definitely help. Of course, they will die to the Hoofnies, but even then, if you get 1 or 2 good shots with the Onager, I think that's value right there. Right now, all the eco being hit as well. And in the north, the wave of Hussar is in on Terag's eco now. Pikemen are giving chase, will be there, and there's Paladin up here from Nemi as well, so I think this wave will also get cleared up, and might even keep this TC from being destroyed.
It looks like it will probably stand. It's gonna be close. It's gonna be close.
Yeah, it's gonna be fine.
It's gonna be...
Oh no, it goes... Oh man!
That is highly unfortunate.
There were a couple of Tarkans in there as well. I think if it was just Hussar, that would have gone down. But yeah,
I think it would have been just fine.
Alpha Grip finding some more value with his Mangadai here, gonna roll forward and snipe a bunch of trebs from Thalion, it looks like. Which will keep this castle from Terra alive as well. And yeah, these trebs have nothing protecting them, so they all just go down. And that's a really good find.
Yeah, it's a nice snipe. That's a lot of resources down the drain.
On the other side, Onager's out and almost gets a really big shot. Does do some decent damage. However, now the siege workshops are being hit. Ooh, more Onagers out though. Ooh, nice shot. Second one doesn't hit. I mean, it's a fair chunk of HP taken.
When you're like,
yeah,
I feel like I should have got that shot, and it just doesn't happen. You're like,
yeah. More forward castles. Yeah, Bismarck continually pushing forward though, slowly and steadily. And now the Hussar are all over the back eco as well.
Yeah, I think the GG should be thrown here relatively soon. I think Nemi is resigned.
Yeah, Alpha Grip as well.
Grip now. Alright, well played from 2 Talking Knights. I think they just good coordination of attacks, so like kind of like what you said earlier, is just drawing Longbowman's army out of position each time before applying pressure. And it was a little bit of a tough Civ matchup in the south.
Yeah.
Franks definitely struggle versus that unit composition.
I think.
Overall,
Okay, this actually I think is where throwing axemen would have been good.
hand cannons do
Do
quite
they
well for
do
Civ.
they counter?
They're still infantry,
Oh, they are
and so they
infantry.
still,
Okay.
yeah, so they still get the bonus.
Okay,
Like,
so you go throwing axe skirm.
I mean, he had a lot of castle. I mean, it probably
And
would
there's
have been
yeah.
better than
I mean
what he was
well
doing.
he had skirm, which was great, and he had cavalry, which unfortunately never managed to get past the halves. So I think even just having microing those a bit better, or just having better pathing, I think it was a bit of both that I saw happening. Would have been okay there. Um, and like you said, waiting on upgrades to come in before taking fights.
But I think like
Um,
there was at a point where he had like 12 or 13 knights, and Bismarcky had zero military. So
mhm.
like,
Yes, that.
like if you know you're at a
Mhm.
civ disadvantage, like use your early army and just see if you can find economy kills.
Yeah,
Like you have to have economy, right,
yeah,
to build units. So if you can deal some good damage, then
yeah.
yeah.
And I think that's something that in general can be looked at. Like if you have this army, go ahead and move out. And the worst thing that happens if you run into like, oh, these are defenses I can't break through, or like he has more army, you can always retreat, especially with a unit as mobile as knights. That's definitely an option. But if your knights are just sitting at home, they're not getting any value. Um, but yeah, it's it's always hard to gauge what the current best move is. But yeah, still good games. That does mean Teutonic Knights take the series 2-0. Uh, and they will take Hillfort as well. I do think I did like all the or almost all the unit composition choices from Longbowmen, like their initial choices, and a lot of their responses as well were good.
Yeah, it was just a bit of just lack of siege at one point made a difference, and then um, yeah, it's just the constant yo-yoing.
Yeah.
Um,
All
all
right.
right,
Well, that concludes this set. We I think we'll take about a 10-minute break, and then
sounds
we'll
good.
go on to the next set, which will be Woad Raiders versus Chukonu. Yeah.
Sounds good.
So back in like 10:35 for me. I for the life of me don't know offhand what time that would be for you.
It is 3:26 right now, so 3:35.
There you go. I will take your word for it. Alright, you guys, we are going to get rolling shortly. It looks like we're having a bit of an issue with our current Rex where we're missing one. So we're going to go ahead and check if we can get a hold of that before we stream the games. So give us a couple minutes. In the meantime, I checked my own bingo sheet and I have a bingo, so I don't know how you guys are doing, but it definitely is doable. Uh, and maybe you guys have been getting bingos and not sending it in, which is fine if you're having fun playing the bingo. I just thought that nobody was getting bingos and was surprised. But yeah. Also, Wazelle, thanks for the follow. And yeah, we're gonna extend this break by another couple minutes while we try and figure out the Rex, and then we'll be back. Okay. I think we're about ready to get rolling on the first game, though. I do not have a Civ draft, map draft. Every time, man. We do not have a map draft for this matchup, but first game will be on Hun Akare, and given how the rest of the tournament has been going, I'm gonna say the second map is Hill Forts, but I don't actually know that.
Second half is Arenaception, I
That's
believe.
basically Hill Forts, just minus the hills and the water. So I was
You get
right,
a
is
fort.
what I'm saying. All right, but yeah, I have game one pulled up, so let me know when you're ready.
Excellent. I do as well. I'm at second number 5.
Okay. Then, cool. Then 3, 2, 1, start. All right,
Cool.
Hanakare. It's been a long, long time since we've seen this map. About one half of a set, but here we are. Um. Oh yeah, and as usual, if you haven't yet, make sure to hit the feedback command and fill out the survey for us. Because I think on the last stream we're planning to announce the MVP that got the most votes. So you know. Um. And also, for the next tournament, it's going to be important. Yeah. You want to start talking about teams? I need to adjust the team names still. Just realized.
Uh, yeah, sure thing. We'll take a look at the Chukanu team. Team we've seen several times already. We have Gumflinger up in the northeast in the red, playing as the Goths. I think Goths is one of his kind of go-to civs. Play quite a few times. You need me to pause for a second?
I'm I think you keep going. I think I've caught up now.
I'm at 141 right now.
Okay.
I just paused.
8, 9, 40, 41.
Cool.
But yeah, we've definitely seen Goths from him a number of times already. So yeah, I think you're right there.
Yeah, so potentially seeing a little bit of the infantry spam from him. In the center, playing as the yellow pocket player, we have Weston playing as the Byzantines. We've seen like she's done a really good job of being like one of the first up to Castle Age and getting her economy rolling on this team. So kind of suspect we'll see that again. So getting an eco advantage, potentially going either Arbalest or maybe we could get to see some Cataphracts, which would be pretty sweet.
Yeah.
And then playing in the south flank, we have Parker Potts as her favorite civ, the Chinese, starting with 3 extra villagers, but no food at the very beginning. However, it's really nice. You know where all your food is on this map, since it is a scenario style map. Yeah. great versatile civ, extra food on their farms. Like techs cost less food every age you're in. So by the time you hit Imperial Age and then you click fletching, it'll be so much cheaper than if it would be if you were in the Feudal Age.
Exactly. So you should research no techs until you're in Imperial Age ever. I'm kidding.
Exactly.
Don't do that.
Exactly.
Don't do that at home, please. On
Uh,
the other flank, opposing Parker Potts, we have Ranger playing as the Franks. Yeah, definitely also a civ we've seen be very popular this entire tournament already. I'm guessing we're going to see Paladin out of him, and potentially also out of Thorin in his pocket. I know we've seen Thorin play as a Spanish before, and we've seen him do a lot of booming up and then coming in with a power unit. I believe last time that he played Spanish and came with Paladin was on Cape of the Kraken against longbows. But yeah, that's kind of what I would be guessing there. And Dino Dragons in the north playing as a Vietnamese. Um, Vietnamese have some fun bonuses as well. You see the starting TC locations of enemies, which on this map, because it is scripted and set, is less relevant, and because of the hills where you can already see where your enemies are. But another cool bonus they get is that your upgrades, the wood cost is removed, which is really nice, because that means you have a bit more leeway with that and can maybe squeeze in an extra house or extra building with the wood that you save. Yeah, Vietnamese also having a really good archery line with the Imperial Skirm as well, which are further upgraded from elite skirmishers, and Rattan archers, which are very powerful counter archery units, and in general just a good unit, especially in mass.
Yeah, Vietnamese also have extra HP on their archery range, like their archer line. So you just have a little bit of an advantage in those feudal fights if it comes to that against your opponent because you just have,
Yep.
you can take an extra hit or two.
Yep. I think in archer versus archer play, there's three main civs that I would look at that have an advantage over any other civ, and that is Vietnamese with the extra HP and the wood cost removed. Not from archery units, to be clear, just from from the bonuses, which I guess archery upgrades. Okay, so disregard the wood, but still the extra HP is super helpful in fights. The second one, and not in ranking order, but just in the list that I'm making, because I think that one might even be better, are the Ethiopians that have the faster firing archers, which will obviously be helpful in a fight. And the third ones are the Mayans, where the units themselves are cheaper. So while you're probably not going to win even fight versus either Vietnamese or Ethiopians, you can produce more units for the same cost and win based off of numbers. So those are kind of the three top civs when it comes to archer v archer straight matchup, I'd say.
Would you not include Britons in that though?
That's probably would be close as well with the extra range. That is super nice. I think they do get that for free, don't they? At
They
in
do.
Castle Age.
However, it's only in Castle
Right,
Age.
it
So,
kicks
like
in later. So in
play,
Feudal, it's definitely these three civs, and starting in Castle Age, you can definitely make an argument for Britons. Obviously, then also with Yeoman giving even more range. So if you're capable of microing to the point where you can take full advantage of that one square, it's devastatingly in your favor just because enemies can't counterattack. Now, even with the best micro, you're probably going to have moments where your enemy's close enough that they can fire back, but definitely still just a firepower advantage there. It does bother me that Britons don't get thumb ring.
I know.
You can see why, and you can make the argument that with that the archers would be too powerful, but it still feels like since they're so heavy on archers, they should still get
Well,
it.
that's kind of what happened to the Vikings, right? They were played
Yeah.
archers
Yep.
all the time, and then they took away thumb ring,
Mhm.
and then we've rarely seen them
Yeah.
played.
It's a
To the
single
same
upgrade,
extent.
but it can make a huge difference, and that's also, I mean, there's several civs that have really good archery lines. Like Aztecs have full archery upgrades except for thumb ring, and
Yep.
you don't actually see arbs just about ever out of Aztecs. It's almost always eagles. Major historical inaccuracy. All right, who invented the thumb ring? That's what I want to know. As all the players are actually on the way up to Feudal Age, I think. Wait, we're missing one. Weston. Okay, so Weston, I
Yeah,
think, also
Weston
going
hit
for a
it
bit more of a.
first.
Oh no, Weston is already there. Okay.
Yeah, she was
Oh, yeah.
the first one there. Clicked up at 19 fills and
Nice. Very
did get
smooth.
housed upon hitting feudal age. I wish I could have a quarter every time I've had that happen to me. I'd be a rich man.
Ooh, and a bit of idle eco for Dino Dragons as she's eaten her boar and needs to retask all these food villagers.
They're just having a bit of a conference.
They're like, wow, well, you know when you've had like a really big meal and you're just sitting there like, man, I can't move right now. This is like the
It's like
post Thanksgiving dinner, like let's all just take five. Let's all just chill for a minute.
maybe they're just concerned about the health of their comrades because two of them, the health bar's a little bit lower after that encounter with the boar.
Google says the Chinese made the thumb ring. I can see that. I have no way of knowing whether that's true or not, but that seems reasonable.
Ooh, we have a forward dock coming down from west on. So coming out of that pocket position to secure a little
Interesting.
bit more forward presence.
Yeah, and potentially also getting on that water for that sweet, sweet fish boom. Castle Age on the other side is on the way for Thorin, though. So he's looking at going up, and yeah, just going for, looks like pretty much like a fast castle approach here from him.
Alright, so do you think Thorn's going to go Conquistadors again, like he did on the Grand Barra game in round 1? Or is he going to go for more of the Paladin approach? Is that what he...
I want to
that's what he went
say...
in Cape of the Kraken, correct?
Yeah, I want to say he's going to go for more of a Paladin approach. I think it would definitely be viable to go for Conks here. There's, a lot of mobility, and if they have the scouting, they'll see that there's no walls down for Chukunu. But given the fact that specifically given the fact that he's not on stone yet, it doesn't seem like he intends to build a castle, although that may still change. In which case, it's looking more like Paladin. But he may be looking just to go for a fast boom into Imp and Paladin.
I mean, it's a great unit. I feel like if Paladin's your play, I feel like there's better civs to go than Spanish.
Yes.
Like you can, Franks is an obvious one, just with the
Right.
extra HP. I think some of the strongest.
Yeah, but you already have a teammate playing Franks.
Yeah, so like you go Lithuanians potentially,
Mhm.
or Magyars for the free attack upgrades. You have the Teutons with the extra armor.
Yeah.
So I think there's better Paladins out there. So that's kind of what's making me think that we may see the Conquistadors.
Yeah,
It could be he's just comfortable with them too.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and we may still see some conks mixed in as well. This may also be a bit reactive, depending on like if we're seeing fights take place and I need to drop defensive castles, I can go for conks. And if I get a free boom and get all the way there, I can just go ahead and go straight to Paladin. It is interesting. I'm always a bit torn on Teutons, or another one like Britons, where it's like they have what's considered a massive power unit, but with a big flaw, which is that they get the extra armor, but they don't get what is it called?
Husbandry.
Husbandry.
So they're
slower.
just slower. They'll win each fight that they take. It's just
and that's
they can't force the fights the same way.
Kind of one of the things that I feel like we don't see in new civs anymore. That was pretty standard in a lot of the initial civs. Is that if one civ has a power unit that's like probably one of the best units in the game with bonuses towards that direction, they also have a weakness to make up for that, right? Britons get extra range, but they lack thumb ring. Teutons have extra armor, but they lack speed. None of the newer civs have that kind of weaknesses anymore, and that's something I'd like to see more for civ balancing, and even civ generation initially, is if you give a civ a particular strength, also just kind of give it a weakness to make it, to balance it out, to make it more interesting, maybe.
What would be an example of that?
Ooh, alright, so, Shravamsha Riders. You have the dodge mechanic, but once that's used up, make them take double damage from all ranged units.
That sounds just a bit gimmicky, though.
Well, I mean, the dodge bar, there's nothing more gimmicky than dodge bars.
I mean, it is pretty gimmicky.
Like, if you want to remove gimmicks, just get rid of the dodge bar and the charge bars.
I think the thing about Strong Riders that bothers me the most is that dodges melee projectiles
Mhm.
and siege projectiles. So like I can understand the arrow fire a little bit, but like the fact that they can dodge, say, like throwing X-Men or like Geppetto or hand cannon, like projectiles that are not arrow related, just that tends to bother me a little bit more.
Yep. That's fair. I guess you kind of have it in Romans, for example, that get double armor upgrades for every, but then they're missing the final one. Which still nets out to like +4 armor, but that means that like you have a big
Just an
advantage
earlier
with it in
power spike.
feudal and castle, but like once you're in late imp, it's a 1 armor difference. So yeah, I guess it still exists to some, but like these civs is where I see it, where you really like decide like, is this really the best in game, or does it just play a bit different? But yeah, Castle Age now on the way for Parker Potts, and both Weston and Thorin on a healthy 3 TC boom. Chukanu do have the edge though, with a 13 eco unit lead, and part of that is that they have more players on water, right? Weston has 7 fishing ships, and in the north we have another 2 from Gunflinger. No one from Team Woad Raiders is on water.
Yeah, so we're seeing that economic advantage for Chukanu right now.
Oh, and even Parker Potts in the south has another 3. Yeah. Yeah, it's most of that difference between these two. I think the villager numbers even in favor of Woad Raiders, but eco units still in favor of Chukanu because they have, what is it here, 10, 13 fishing ships. And
yeah,
we have an archer chasing a transport ship. It has done 0 damage so far. Okay. The archer has defaulted.
He's a determined archer, though. It's like,
all right,
I will.
He's defaulted to this fishing ship, and he's already brought it down from 60 to 47 HP, so.
And Ranger could potentially deny this castle from Parker Potts if he scouts it. He's just coming forward just a little bit more.
Well, he has, I don't think 2 archers is enough.
Oh, with only 3 vills, I think you could probably,
that's fair.
probably do it.
No fletching yet. It'd be tricky, but I think you could do it. You know, I accidentally turn on, if I like select a unit, it gives me like a, instead of like a line surrounding the range, I get a whole area, which is very annoying, but I don't know how to turn that off.
I can show you in the middle of the next game. So.
All right, fair enough. Looks like Parker Potts got out some archers of her own though, and sniped 1 from Ranger. Also does have fletching in, and actually the second armor is on the way. So definitely gonna have better archers and fire ships from Weston as well, which will really help control the shallows, especially against like small numbers of archers. That's gonna be very powerful.
Yeah, so we have that castle coming up for Parker Potts, and I'm pretty sure we're gonna see Chukanuk being created relatively quickly. And then, but we have stone walls coming down from Ranger, so he is kind of locking down his side of the base. Though, is that a hole?
Not on that bottom side. No. Yes. Yep.
I think it might be a hole.
At the north end of that wall. So there's still a 1 tile gap there. On the other side, we have a castle from Parker Potts as a Chinese. That's probably also going to become a production building soon. I wouldn't be surprised to see Chokanu, which Parker Potts does enjoy playing, and she's already going into ranged units. However, this scout just like ran past that castle twice and is still alive. It's wild.
No kidding.
My scouts never do that. I'm at 2647.
Okay, I'm at 2707. Pause there.
Oh, about 7. No. There we go. Okay. 3, 2, 1, go. Aha! A Chukanu! I called it.
Hey, look at you. And the scout does go down for Ranger, so.
Yeah, it does look like this is closed, but there's just this path around it. Yeah.
I think it. Maybe there's a tree there.
I don't think there is. I think it looks that way. But I think there's actually like a small corner around this where there's 1 tree missing.
Okay. So there's one feature in AoE 4 that you can rotate the minimap, like your point of view. And I think I could see that being really handy in some of these where it's like, if I could just rotate just enough.
Yes.
Or like the enemy's attacking you from a certain direction, you can just change your point of view.
But also so confusing.
Oh, it would be entirely confusing. But you
Like,
don't have to use it if you don't want to.
fair, but like I can see myself sending armies the wrong way because I'm like, this is the direction I need to go. I'm like, oh no, I just rotated my map by 90 degrees. This is completely wrong. Dino Dragons has gone to water, got some fishing ships out, and actually going to go ahead and also take advantage of these shallows to send some villagers fishing, which will be a nice little supplement to her food income, as she's also dropping a defensive castle on her own base. So potentially looking at building is it Rattan or Rattan?
That depends on what part of the country you're from.
Fair enough. I'm not from Vietnam at all, so I guess I get to say whichever
Hey,
one I like.
there we go. We should consult Ornlu. I think he specializes in the proper pronunciation of all of them. I'm not entirely sure.
Okay, fair enough. I'll have to check his stream one of these days. We
Yeah.
have Weston as first up to the Imperial Age, with a healthy economy of, well, 56 villagers, but still queuing. And that's actually a pretty, like 30 minutes is a pretty quick Imperial Age timing.
She is Byzantines though, so the Imperial Age upgrade cost is significantly reduced. I think it's 33% cheaper.
Yeah,
And we got a bit of a house wall coming down from Gunflinger, so he's kind of locking down that lower section of their base,
nice. Yep.
protecting his pocket from maybe a sneak raid south. And they may be coming up just in time because we have knights coming from Thorin across the shallows.
And, well, okay, Gunflinger does have a handful of spearmen that can counter that, but he's going to have to pull these villagers quickly or he's going to lose some of those. Does have several TCs, mostly the vills off of this mill here are going to have to pull back, but it looks like Thorin is also looking to immediately follow this up with a siege workshop, and Gunflinger needs to react. You gotta pull these vills, man! There we go. Town bell is rung, the vills will be saved. Knights taking a fight under the TC against spears should go pretty poorly for them. Second armor
Ooh,
is in for them, though.
it just comes in, but they did take a couple.
Yep,
Did lose one or two knights there.
just one, but
Uh,
heavy production for Thorin, as we have 11 knights here now, another 8 in queue. How many stables is he producing from? Hold on. Five
looks like we've
stables up
got
here.
5 stables.
Yeah, that's gonna be wave after wave of knights coming in here. They're gonna have to find a response to this soon because there's gonna be rams following this up, and we may see this go similar to the map last set, where just the overwhelming pressure in the north ends up being a real problem. We do have Gunflinger dropping multiple barracks and also getting fletching to kind of buff his TCs a bit. But it looks like he's going to go Spearman. However, he's completely idled off of his eco for the moment, at least off of his
He
food eco.
does have a lot of res in the bank though. Like
That
he's
is
got
true.
over 2,000 food.
Yeah,
So he should be able to get a decent economy kind of going. But those
Yep.
knights are wrecking havoc on
yeah.
Gunflinger's base.
Pikeman is coming in, Forging is coming in, those will all be helpful, but he's going to miss. Yep, there are going to be rams. We are at 2 rams with another one in queue. In the south, just to stand off, we do have a lot of Chukanu here. I'd kind of like to see these either move forward to find damage when you're being hit to the north, or go to the north to help defend this, as second TC goes down here. And Gunflinger is down to a single TC and losing a lot of villagers.
It does have pike production going, so
Yeah.
he has 63 pikemen in queue.
Ooh, man.
This question is just, will he have time to get them out?
Well, it looks like he's
does-
got a good handful out which take out the first wave of knights, and should also be able to deal with these rams. And more
That is
costs are being
27
created. That's a lot of
knights.
Yeah. The pikes are taking pretty decent engagements here, finding value. The TC's helping out a bit. Knight numbers are decreasing, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. I do like that Gunflinger is kind of starting to garrison these inside the barracks so he can pop a bunch out at once, which will help this trade better, but needs to fill his TC. And
And there's just no army from Weston to help support.
yeah,
Like that would be messed up. I would love to have seen Gunflinger run a bill sooner.
yeah, I was gonna say, as nice it is to queue this up, he's got That's a lot of knights. This TC is going to go down, and he might be completely out of the game in just a minute.
Nope. In the north, he has one villager. He is staying
Ah,
alive.
nice. And a transport ship, so he could even transport over to the north and reboom there. The pikes will come out. We'll do some more damage, but there's more. There's just wave after wave of knights flooding in from Thorin.
Yeah, 41 army on the field right now, and Ranger doing a really good job with his production in this game. So this, I think, has a couple knights on the field and has stone walled across the top of the base. So even if Parker Potts moved out, he's going to run into the stone walls, so it's just going to slow that push significantly.
We have missionaries added from Thorin to heal up his knights as he pushes.
This is the second time we've seen missionaries from Thorin, right?
Yeah, maybe that's why we have Spaniards, because the missionaries are much better at keeping up with the knight numbers. We do have the Chukunu here now, and that's a decent ball of them, so Thorin will actually be forced to retreat for the moment. Weston does also have a defensive castle in near and is dropping some stables of her own with Paladin on the way. And
does come in.
Yeah, gotta pull back these Chukunu under the castle though. Don't want to take that fight out in the open. Find a choke point, hang out under the castle. Good damage though. Lots of good damage and microing back while still firing, so this is good.
A nice micro from Parker Potts just to kind of minimize the damage and deal as much damage as she can before losing that mass.
Yeah, and that also does distract, maybe allows Weston to snipe down these rams before they take out the castle. Ooh, no, Chukunu, not the ram, not the ram! Okay, well, they actually do fine against the ram. That was much quicker than I expected. But
Ooh, we have
will
Paladin
go down.
coming in from Weston.
Yep.
So, a good unit. The only downside with Byzantine Paladin is they don't have bloodlines.
Yeah, and Weston does also need to start outputting units, because Paladin upgrade is great, but only when you have Knight line units on the field, of which there are currently 0. Does have 24 halbs in queue, but also those also need to come out before they
just
can
takes time.
value. Yeah.
Yeah. And Parker Potts does have 14 halbs as well. I'd like to see kind of come reinforce the top side if possible.
Yeah, and it looks like they are on their way. And 8 barracks being dropped here actually, which is great. But for now, I think this castle's going to go down to these rams.
We got spills coming forward to repair,
yeah.
but I don't think that's enough to maintain.
Yeah, and especially now that Capped Ram is coming in. Yeah, this is a dead castle. And that's a lot of eco from Weston now also taken out. Halbs are here now, a number of them, which should be able to deal with this number of knights. Cavalier, though, on the way from Thorin.
Yeah, but that halb upgrade is significantly stronger
huge,
than
yeah.
just regular first pikeman.
Paladin immediately from Thorin, but again, a lot of these units are actually being lost to the halbs before upgrades come in, which is going to be helpful for Team Chukunu. And I think in these numbers, the halbs can clear all the military that's currently pressuring.
I think so. It's just the question is, are they going to be able to push back out? Like, the only castle Chukunu has is on the far south, and Thorin has a castle on the hill where Gunflinger's original base was.
And despite having a villager, Gumfinger is effectively out of the game for the moment. He is still fishing, he does still have a TC, but his villager is kind of idled. He does have the resources to build a TC, so I'd like to see him probably transport across. Well, what is up there? There's a bit of hunt, not much else, I guess. So maybe just build a TC in the north, but...
Yeah, he did snipe the 5, or at least 2 of the relics.
Yeah. Well, he has 2 right now. There's a couple more in the monastery. So he is going to be on 4 relics. So he'll have a trickle of gold income. He'll have some food income, but needs to kind of get his eco kick started. And there are Rattan archers here now to support the paladin. And a couple of
Rattans
conks.
are going to do quite well versus the halbs. Army advantage still in favor of Chukunu, but they're just massed but not really being utilized much at all.
Yeah, and There's 4 Trebs here now from Dino Dragons. I think we've seen this in past matches where she goes up and then provides the siege while Thorin provides the military to protect the siege. And together they push through, which is really nice to, you know, teamwork there, but not pleasant if you are the enemy team to deal with.
Yeah, some great team coordination on that end of things.
Lots of halbs here though, and another wave of Chukanu coming up. And I mean, well, Chukanu versus Rattan Archers is kind of a rough matchup for both sides.
Those Rattans don't have any armor or fletching currently, so
true.
the Chukanu should do quite well versus
Yeah,
them.
and they're not elite Rattan Archers, so for now the Chukanu should win this out. Long term. Alright. Alright, we have a TC Foundation placed by Gumflinger.
Oh, but his one Vil is gonna test right through all of those Paladin.
Oh no.
Oh no. He does have 2 monks though, so he will be able to convert a Vil to get back in the game, but that is a dead villager. Oh. Highly unfortunate. Looks like the Trebs from Dino Dragon are going down. There's only 1 left. The Chukanu and the Halp combination has done a good job of clearing up the Rattans.
Yep, and the Chukanu will actually do decently against the Conks as well, especially once the Halbs are in front to act as a bit of a meat shield. As the Halbs, no, don't turn around, Halbs, don't turn around! Protect the Chukanu! Oh no. Alright, so the Chukanu will be the meat shield for the Halbs instead, and we'll still do okay against the Conks. We'll clear up most of them, and the Paladin will finish the rest. But a bit unfortunate there that the Halbs, which are probably the cheapest units of the 3 here for Chukanu, are the ones that don't engage or take damage. And more Conks being produced by Thorn.
Yeah.
Woo.
I would love to see some Vils converted by Gunflinger. He has his monks over there. It looked like he was thinking about it, but then decided to hold off. But
Nice find by West Dawn here, though. Will deny a castle that Thorn went to place.
The Halbs are on top of the Conks, though, and those Conks will go down quite quickly if he's not careful. Yep. 3 Conks go down.
Yep, and Halbin Paladin will collapse on these Paladin as well. So finding good engagements is West Dawn here, doing a good job defending herself, and also very costly engagements for Thorin, who's losing a lot of fairly expensive units.
He does have a lot of gold access, though. He's taking all of Gunflinger's and still has quite a bit of gold in his
true,
base.
Yeah. It's another 8,000, so he can sustain this for a while. Still, probably not the way he wants those fights to be going. Ranger in the south, though, is on the way up to Imperial Age now. And we'll see what his plan is from there. He does have a massive knights down there. Might think about moving forward and raiding Parker Potts, who, if she's forced to defend in the south, can't help West Dawn defend in the north anymore. And... oh, the Paladin are hard tasked this castle. I think they'd be better served taking out those Rattan Archers, who are currently in a really bad position. And Parker Potts will go ahead and pull those back, but unfortunately weren't able to find much value.
Yeah, a bit unfortunate with that. Did take some HP off the castle, but not really worth it. Losing that number of Paladin.
Yeah. And I mean, if the Paladin had just engaged, they could have probably taken out the Rattan Archers completely and a good number of the Conks, or at least forced the Conks back. As this castle now continues to be built by Thorin. Is that a doubt castle? It's not a doubt castle. We've had a doubt castle earlier today in the first set. I was at like, what, 98% was it?
I think it was 98, yep. Has to be above 90 to be a true doubt castle. Which Paladin are coming back over. Counts at 80, 90%. There's 1 Vil left.
Woo,
And we have ourselves a doubt
now
castle.
it's a doubt castle.
Now we have a doubt
there
castle.
It is. And the Halbs once again finding some good hits on the Conks. Reb's rolling forward, but there's not. I mean, there is stuff to trap down. Chukunu coming in from the side, and the Conks once again are forced to withdraw. And yeah, maybe this is part of the reasoning to pick Spanish is that if there's a lot of halves, you can kind of divert into Conks and kind of kite that a bit, which is a nice option to have. As here we have just an ugly engagement for both sides between the Rat and Archers and Chukunu. However, the Chukunu will win this out, especially with the Paladin and Halbs coming in, and I think Weston will again be able to snipe a couple trebs here.
Yeah, way to just kind of hop right on them. The Conquistadors were a little bit out of position to kind of help protect those trebs.
Yeah.
And that push is going to get stalled again.
Yeah. And yeah, for all the overwhelming military presence, it's been a hard time for Wood Raiders to push because Chukunu have been doing a really good job of sniping down all the siege. And come on, Gunflinger, convert some units and get back in the game. Do it, do it, do it.
You got this. Chukunu all go down underneath Castle Fire, so they were debated by the Conks.
Nice little move by Thorin there.
Yeah. 47 Halbs though coming in from Burger Pots. I would like to see more Chukunu or go Camel. Like, Chinese have good camels, they have all the upgrades they need.
Alright, what's Ranger up to? Still building knight numbers, up to 20 now. Other than that, content to hold for them.
And Dino Dragon continues to produce more trebs and reinforce with rats. So
yeah, and Weston is the production is kind of dropping. I mean, she's still got good resources. Actually, can still sustain this, but still dealing with a lot of idle eco. As you can see, a lot of her starting eco, a lot of farms there are kind of being blocked by the castle from Thorin, which is up now. So kind of struggling to keep eco going, which will, in the long term, kind of peter out, I think. But another Treb sniped, goes down. Another wave of Halbs here.
Which all should probably get micro down because they're just not fast enough, and they're now underneath Hero Fire.
Yeah, and between Rat and Conks and Castles, this is going to be rough. And now Thorin is starting to produce some Trebs of his own. And yeah, that's a lot of HP just kind of lost.
Yeah, like 20 plus Halbs just lost in a short amount of time.
Yeah, I will say Chukunu are doing really well given that they are kind of playing 2v3. As Roselle mentioned, the eco is actually even, and that's with 2 players versus 3 essentially. However, I think Weston is going to run out of fish soon. I already see the ships taking the last couple of shore fish, the same for Parker Potts. And that might be the point at which their ecos kind of run dry.
We do have Gunfinger using his transport and transfer ship to catch the last relic in the center that he can get. But still no converted villagers yet.
Nope. And over here, bit of trade being set up, but a lot of Treb, or, well, 2 Trebs. But the military numbers for World Raiders is growing. And the military for Chukunu is kind of petering out, a 50 difference now. And Chukunu also kind of struggling with the fact that Parker Potts has to send her helps a long way to reinforce. And as you mentioned, they're already not the fastest unit, so that's a lot of time kind of being lost in moving them into position where a lot of the time they're just being micro down.
Yeah, not looking great for Team Chukunu currently. I think if Gunflinger had been able to get a couple villagers out and reproduce, I think they would have been in a good position. But
yeah, and it looks like the GG is called. But yeah, well played by Wood Raiders there. Really good hold for Chukunu for quite some time. Good job taking down that siege. And I think Halbs are also a good choice initially. I think with the Conks and Rat and Archers later, it might have been worth going into skirms, maybe skirms from the Byzantines, and then camels from the Chinese to counter the paladin.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think camel would have been a better option. I think for um, Parker Potts to go, and then allow Weston to go into that infantry and siege.
Hmm.
All right. Well, if you'll give me just a few moments,
Yep.
and then I'll see if we can get the rec ready for the last game, and we'll go from there.
Yep. Sounds good. So yeah, we are still waiting on the rec for the last game that hopefully will be sent to us shortly. As mentioned previously, I believe it's arenaception, and then we'll see what happens. If you're watching now and don't have anything else to do, this is a good time to fill out the feedback form if you haven't yet. And if you have already filled it out, then you can listen to this music.
I'm not loaded in yet. I had to
All good, all good.
restart the game
All
here,
right,
but
but we are getting ready. We have the rec that we need for the last game, so we'll get in on that shortly. I should also adjust the score. We'll do game one, and game two will be on a reception.
Sonic Ray.
fancy. All right. And I believe we are about ready to get going. Let's make sure I have the window open and we'll start in 3, 2, 1, go. All right, Arenaception, not a map we've seen a lot this tournament. We had it last year and possibly even the year before that. I'm not sure. But was banned or just not picked a lot of the time. So cool to see it as well. They got played. And yes, for a second I was confused about the colors. I thought they were mixed, but nope, it is right. In the south, we have Team Chukunu. Parker Potts playing as the Huns. As we saw before, I should play. What second are you?
I am on 1 minute and 13 seconds.
Okay,
Or
I
1 minute 16 now, sorry.
for some reason hit the wrong button when I to hit play, I guess.
How unfortunate.
Oh. Like
So,
why are the villagers not moving?
116 is what I'm at.
18, 6. All right. 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, there we go. Now the villagers are moving. I was like, very strange. Hey Maz, how's it going? Right, Huns. We've seen them before. They were on Hillfort's last set, and I think we'll see a similar approach here. With a heavy cavalry, and potentially we'll see Marauders again. Sorry, Tarkans. To punch those walls and do some damage. In the pocket, the Hindustanis. Yeah, we've talked about this. Very powerful eco, very good camels. May be also against counter pick if you saw all the cavalry from your opponent's last game, thinking if they're going cavalry again, or just in general because you see a lot of cavalry in team games. Camels are a really nice counter pick, and the hand cannons will be really nice against halbs or any other infantry. And in the south, the Celts. Celts are more of a halb siege civilization and a very good one at that. And actually also a civ we've seen reasonably often this tournament, although mostly on Desert Slope for their woodcutting bonus. But other than that, do have very nice siege, very good halbs, and also woad raiders can be really nice for, running through enemy ecos and sniping villagers.
Yeah, and I think that suits Gunflinger's preferred playstyle. Like, he normally goes, like, Halb Siege anyway.
Mhm.
Like, he likes to play Goss. I think this is the first one that comes to mind.
Yep.
So, kind of playing to his strengths on this one. And it's nice to have a little bit of stone walls on this one, so you won't have to deal with quite the early pressure that he did last game. For Team Woad Raiders. On the flank, again, we have Dino Dragons playing as the Vikings. Talked about them previously today, but great economic civ. Get handcart and wheelbarrow for free. Sadly, no water on this map, so we won't see longboats, but the unique unit, the Berserk, has a passive healing on it. It's a really cool unit. So maybe we'll see some of those. In the pocket, having a little bit of a branch out from his standard heavy cav play. Thorin is playing as the Bohemians. We saw the set before, the power of the Bohemians with their halb and hoofnies and hand cannon combination. So I suspect we'll see that again. I'm curious to see how well it'll work out this time.
Yeah.
Sorry. On the opposing flank.
Real quick, just because you said Thorin, we have seen him play almost exclusively heavy cav, so I'm very interested to see how this goes for him. Because heavy cav isn't even really an option for Bohemians. I don't think they even get Cavalier. I think Knights is it.
They have some of the worst cav games. It's not the worst.
It's not
they have some of the worst.
But oh no, they do get Cavalier. It looks like that is surprising. But they don't get the armor. Yeah.
They missed the last armor, and they don't have bloodlines. And I think they're missing an attack. Is it an attack upgrade? I think.
No, they have full attack.
They have all the attack.
They're missing bloodlines. Yeah.
And they're missing the last armor, which those are two pretty important.
Yeah, and they don't have Hussar or Paladin. So all the final upgrades of the cavalry lines as well. All right.
Not pretty, not pretty.
So yeah, heavy cav
Uh,
not really an option for Thorin.
yeah, so we'll probably see the same unit composition as Bismarcking Win. We'll see how effective it is.
Oh, the villager!
And then, yeah. Oh no, Parker Potts. Ugh, sad. And last but not least, we have Ranger playing as the Japanese. Faster attacking infantry. I think they attack 33% faster. They have some of the strongest infantry in the game because of that attack bonus.
Mhm.
Yeah, and already got a couple farms out. Man. So Arena Reception's a relatively peaceful start to the map. But I'm curious to see if we'll have any castle drops to apply pressure
Or a
on
siege tower.
these peaceful
I still want
fortifications.
to. I still want to see a siege tower attack in Arena Reception or a similar map.
Well, I tell you what. Every time I go siege tower, people have double walled, and it never works. It's so
Maybe.
frustrating.
Maybe you're just siege towering in the wrong places. I guess it is.
You know,
The difficulty with siege tower is that it's your archers are going to find limited value in such a small enclosed space, and you can't put your cavalry in the siege tower, and infantry is kind of slow. So unless you have something like eagles, siege tower does have limited utility. It's like, although it can be a really nasty surprise, which sometimes is already enough to give it value.
yeah. I mean, if you get like 20 like long swords with like if you do like Viking long swords with the extra
Yeah.
HP siege tower, they'll be able to sink TCs pretty quickly
That is true.
if they catch stuff unawares. Huh?
Looks like
All right, we got
scout.
Thorin just exact same thing I was about to talk about.
Yeah.
Just chilling right by the relic, and the statue's in the center, making sure that those relics stay nice and
He's
safe.
on vacation. It's a nice scenic area. He thought he'd hang out for a bit.
Ooh, Dino Dragon's taking the prize of the first to be advancing to the feudal age.
Very
Out,
nice.
beat West on by just a few seconds.
Yep, and second player on each team on the way up, and then it looks like Ranger and Ranger and Parker Potts are a little bit behind, although Parker Potts is about to go to stone already, so potentially looking at a forward castle as soon as she can. She is on the way up to feudal as well now.
So, how do you feel about this map? Do you like this map? I know you said you practiced it a little bit, but
I think it can be fun to play every now and then.
okay.
I'm not a closed map boom enjoyer a lot of the time.
I understand that 100%.
Yeah, I very much like my open maps, and this is not one of them. What I do like about specifically Arenaception is that due to the True Clown Legion and some coaching from Trenig, I have the option of going monks, which in team games doesn't really work out, but I know in the past year it was a super nasty surprise for the opposing team, and got some value until the enemy pocket had just a horde of Manaspa that just ripped through everything. But it was a nice little it's if I'm playing for competitive, I think I don't like Arenaception. If I'm playing just for like gimmick strats and having fun, I think it's a great map.
I can see that. When you can have like the double castle drop or even the triple castle drop, like one on the front.
You can do a lot of silly stuff, and like the nice thing about Arenaception is that you're guaranteed to have stone walls that makes your enemy think they're safe, which makes siege tower a viable strat, right? You go like nomad, nobody's gonna like build siege towers because you're hoping your opponent just isn't walled to begin with, and if there's no walls, then why build a siege tower sort of thing. Oof. Speaking of walls, forward walls coming out from Parker Potts, taking up some space and maybe securing herself that stone if she manages to get those up. And does have her scout there.
Yeah, I think she's playing the wrong set though. I would like to see her play Chinese for the Great Wall right now. Like, come on. That's a pretty big wall. I like it.
It's a good
I do
wall,
like
but
how
it
it's
could be
forward
a great
enough
wall.
to. Ah,
All right.
you're so honey.
I know. I am so honey. All right.
I do like how the not grave wall is in front of the stone, so it gives her access to it
Yep.
when she wants to take
Yep.
it.
And that, oh, no, this is just a clump of. Why does it look so blue on my. I think just because it's right next to the. Dino Dragons is going to go ahead and take this hunt here, though. Kind of boost her food eco a bit.
Alright, looking nice. Like to see a couple farms dropped, but.
Players going up to Castle Age. We have. Oh, Thorin is up. Will immediately drop ATC. Weston about to go up, so pockets will both be up in the next age. And it looks like Dino Dragons is also going to stone, so we may have a castle off between the Huns and the Vikings here. And
Yeah,
a scout
and
fight in the
Dinos.
center.
Yeah, Dino Dragon's got a couple of nice early hits on Weston Scout, so that Scout's going down.
Yep.
And
Nice little fight, and that'll potentially give them control of the center if they choose to take it. On the other side, though, it looks like Gumflinger's also putting down some walls. Found a nice little area where there's an outside wood line, so he doesn't actually have to build a super long wall either.
hey, I do like that end has the Scout there just for a little
Yep.
bit of extra protection.
Oh,
Oh no,
man.
Ranger didn't find his
Yeah, two
sporting
sheep.
sheep.
I was gonna say, imagine if Gumflinger's scout just went a little bit forward, he could grab both of those. But obviously not something you suspect is available. But yeah, both of the scouts, or I guess they still have all three scouts, from Woad Raiders are on the inside, while it looks like Chukunu are looking to control more of the outside.
Alright.
Do you think these sheep survived this game?
Ooh. Yes. I'm going to. Well, he's putting a gate there. Ah.
So here's the thing. Once you get to a certain point of like Castle Age, I feel like most players stop paying attention to stuff like sheep. You're just full on the farm eco at this point. You're not even considering it, even if you find sheep. So even
You're
if he
not
grabs them, or even if Ranger grabs them, I think they might just be left alone unless there's like an onager push forward that they get caught in. I think they have a decent chance.
Alright, so the question is, will those sheep remain independent the entire game? Will they be Gaia sheep the entire game?
I think that's entirely dependent on whether Gumflinger chooses to push on the outside.
Yeah, interesting
Because
question.
given last game, I think Rangers content to sit back and defend.
Mm-hmm.
And Gumflinger is in a position here where he can push. He's given himself a gate to be able to. But whether he chooses to do that or decides the outside is walled, I'm going to push through the middle or defend, I think that's going to be defining.
Alright, so you didn't answer my question.
I I think difficult. Feels like a 50-50. I'm going to say they're going to remain neutral.
That's kind of what I'm feeling. I was feeling more confident when Gunflinger's scout ran back to his base rather than coming forward.
Yep. We do have a TC in the center by Weston, which I really like, kind of securing yourself some of that gold and also right on the wood line. So kind of double value there. And, no, the wall in the north is being completed. Market Cross just kind of paused to get herself a market to help herself get up to the next age. And Castle Age now coming in as well for Gumflinger with a little, look at that little colony of houses he's building.
I like it. It's nice and organized. Looks nice on the minimap, you know. Well, nice
Little block of
compact
red.
base. It's one of those things where like I used to play that way when I was learning to play.
Yeah.
I was really organized and like had my whole city structure like really nice. And then I started trying to get better and my cities look terrible now.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know how I feel about this. I prefer the aesthetically pleasing towns.
Yeah.
At the same time I like
There should be a
winning.
higher score value for having nice looking towns in this game.
That would be
like-
cool.
if your houses are all in
Ooh.
line, like look at this nice little line of houses from Dino Dragon. Look at how cool this looks.
What if like you gain a HP bonus on your buildings if they're like symmetrically aligned with other bonus,
There
like
you go.
other houses? That would
That would
be
be pretty sweet.
kind of cool. Got the quadruple TC boom coming in from Thorin with 4
Yep.
TCs. And you're kind of seeing that reflected in the build numbers with already a 20 build lead. More like, yeah, 15, 16.
For him specifically. Because overall, the eco lead is still in favor of Team Poo. With TCs 2 and 3 being dropped for Gunflinger right now. And Dino Dragons. Apparently. Alright. Still not too much going on outside of that though, and this is the thing about Arenaception is that it's usually a very, very passive map until players hit at least, like, at best, early Castle Age is when action starts, even at, like, top level games. You don't really see anything before early Castle Age, and then in early Castle Age it's usually either a forward castle drop or the Monk Wars. In our bracket, they usually late castle, like unless there's a castle drop happening, there's usually no military interaction until like late castle to early.
I think that's part of the reason why I don't overly love closed maps is because you just kind of get comfortable just building economy, and you're just happy doing that, and you're like, oh, I should probably have army, and then person who didn't get comfortable doing that comes in with a massive army and just can kind of catch you by surprise.
Yeah. Ooh, Fletching coming in. Thorin? Is he going archers?
Maybe. I feel like that's a bit of an early click because there's no military production buildings on the field.
Yeah.
And does he have fervor yet? He does not have fervor.
No, archer armor is coming in. Fervor is coming in for Dino Dragons. Who has a monk on the field as well, so he's looking to grab some of those relics.
Yeah, kind of like we saw in round 1 with Grambara, like just taking advantage of that extra gold.
Third TC. Now the TC difference, despite Thorin's 4 TC boom, is about to be 9 versus 6. So I expect Chukunu's eco will be pulling ahead. Defensive castle here as well for Weston, which will kind of further secure her foothold on the middle and cover another gold.
Yeah. You know, it's been interesting. So this is what, round 3 of the castle bracket? So this is the last round.
Yes.
And just having watched each of these games, the players are playing better each round. Like the economies are looking better.
The sheep are gone.
Like, they're a little bit better.
Weston.
What?
Weston found the sheep. Went forward with the camels. That's not a. All right. That's all right. We couldn't possibly have seen that. I did not expect. I did not even consider the outside camel raid from the pocket player. All right.
That idea did not dawn on you at all.
Yeah. Nope. I didn't. Yeah. That hardly seems fair. I don't think we should take that into consideration. I think this still counts as the sheep not being found.
of the colors, yellow is as like close to the guy as possible, but they're about to be red. What a teammate, sending those sheep to an ally.
All right, defensive tower coming up from Ranger in response. It does have a couple of archers here, so these camels should probably pull back because they won't punch through that stone gate. And Imp is on the way for Thorin. Ooh.
And Imperial Age is also on the way for Weston, so kind of comparable time.
Yeah. But continued more archery range upgrades coming in. Ballistics, leather archer armor. Still no military, but oh, there we go. All right, ranges. Lots of ranges being dropped. We are going to see an archer play from Thorin.
But you know what unit Parker Potts is going? Tarkin. And Tarkin will destroy archers.
Yeah. And it looks like, alright, Weston is going camels, which is also pretty solid. I mean, Arbs will do fine against camels, but these are Hindustani camels. Yeah. Oh no, not arbs. Hand cannons. Hand cannons coming out.
Okay, well, I mean, see, that's what I originally thought he was going, but he got all
Yeah.
the like the range upgrades
Yeah.
first, and so I
Yeah.
guess I was a little confused on that because hand cannons don't affect from archer line range upgrades. They do benefit from the armor.
Yes. Yeah. And to be fair, I did miss chemistry coming in, which I guess he has researched. If you got so that might have been a bit more of a clue.
Oh, the sheep are moving. Sheep are moving. They're headed towards TC.
Oh
We
man,
may have some dead sheep.
we may have been completely wrong. Heavy camo
Oh,
coming in for West Dawn. Well, they're just hanging out for now. They're just chilling. However, there's a bunch of villagers that just finished building a castle and have nothing else. So
I'm worried for my sheep.
yeah. We do also have Halb upgrades. So, well, we're up to pikemen now coming in for Thorin. I expect we'll see Halb and fortified wall as well. Actually, check that one off the bingo. And a castle. But it looks like hand cannons is a primary composition here.
Yeah, which, as we saw, used in great effect in the previous set. A bit unfortunate, again, with Bohemians not going fervor on their vills. Like, he had the monastery, just getting fervor to get that further economic boost.
Although, as you say that, the monastery is about to die to camels. There it goes. West Dawn's camels have actually looped all the way around and will now find some villager kills. The hand cannons are here to deal with them, but the villagers actually open the gate. Oh, but the camels are pathing. Oh man, they pathed. They pathed.
Terrible pathing.
They pathed to the hand cannon that was the hardest to reach for all of them. Thorin now dropping a bunch of siege workshops and a bunch of barracks. So I think Halb and possibly Hoofnies are going to be coming in the near future. We do have a fair amount of stables here. Ooh, and we have Berserks from Dino Dragons on the field.
All right. Such a cool unit.
Yeah, look at them. Look at them hanging out. Hoofnies is on the way. We do have on the other side Trebs being queued up from several players. Mangonels also from Gunflinger, which can find really good value against the hand cannon ass.
I mean, it is playing as Celts, so I assume once we see Imperial Age, we'll probably get the Onager upgrade when we can afford it.
You think we'll see Fur Celtica?
I suspect so.
Wagenberg
The game goes
Tactics. Elite Berserk. Monk still collecting relics.
Yeah, Thorin has a big score lead, but like he's still lacking on the siege side of things to, I think, do effective damage.
Yes, he does. All right, he has a bombard cannon out. He has 5 more queued. Hoofnies is being researched, so he'll be there soon. And well, there's some army there to face him. Parker Potts sitting on 30 Tarkans. There's also another 20 camels, heavy camels even, from West Dawn.
So the only side is those Tarkans are not elite yet and are missing the last armor upgrade. So,
ooh, but the hand cannons engage against the camel, and they will take them out. Although they'll take some losses, but again, the pathing. The camels are going all the way around. Unless is West Dawn trying to snipe the Hoofnies? They're trying. No, they're pathing back. What is no? Oh no! This is terrible.
That is so unfortunate. I mean, you see the army value, right? 13,000 military value in favor of the 8.
Yeah, but yeah, the camels just kind of run in circles, don't actually hit anything, just kind of die to the hand cannons, which is really unfortunate. Skirms now being added by Gunflinger, as we have ballistics coming in, and Elite Tarkin is on the way now.
But Berserks do have a little bit of a bonus attack versus cavalry.
Yep, but the numbers of those are still low.
They are looping out to the outside. So we're going to see a flanking attack, and Elite Tarkin is coming in. Still missing the last armor.
But I think that's fine. There's not much there to fight them.
Mm-mm. And so the question is, can Weston hold for long enough to
It's going to be
allow for
difficult. She
damage
has
needed?
basically no military, and there's 5 Hoofnies here just ripping through. Just saw them nuke one castle already. And she'll build another one, and I get wanting to build a castle to defend yourself, but it's gonna go down immediately to these 5 Hoofnies, so I don't think there's much... I don't think that's a good idea. You're just kind of gonna lose the stone and a bunch of the villagers.
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna, yeah, there's too many Hoofnies, so
Yeah.
it's just a little bit too close. I would have preferred to see that castle inside her base, the stone walls, but...
Alright, the Tarkans, however, are through. There's a forward castle being dropped, and Dino Dragons is about to be in a world of pain once these Tarkans finish off that mining camp.
That's a lot of Tarkans.
That is a lot of
And
Tarkans, and I think they can take out the castle and the TC if they choose to do so.
I think quite easily, yeah.
As you can see, look at this just going down. Look at this just go. What? And that's going to be a lot of dead villas.
Oh,
And
Tarkans units.
just like that, Dino Dragons is down to 15 villagers. On the other side,
However,
though, the push is
it's a lot of
continuing.
hand cannon.
That's a whole lot of hand cannons. That is 76 hand cannons on the field. 78 even. And let's see, no fletching in for this TC or anything, so the hand cannons take basically no damage. However, the Tarkans have taken down the castle now, and will find some trebs from Dino Dragons, and that's a flank player essentially dead, as Dino Dragons is out of villagers, has 1 monk left, which might get found as well. Dino Dragons might be effectively out of this game. Knights here now from Ranger, but will be outnumbered, and I think Tarkans will still win this fight, even with the Berserks and Knights here.
Yeah, but Weston is in a world of hurt right now. Like her entire, she's down to 36 fills.
Yeah.
And it's falling quickly.
So this 3v3 might turn into a 2v2. However, the eco lead is still 100 in favor of Team Chukun.
I mean, one player is completely out of fills. Like that's
That is true.
incredible.
Yeah.
Weston's doing a great job of running fills. I really like that. Like, you know, you can't stop this. Just make sure that you can get out with the economy.
Yeah, give yourself a chance to come back into the game at some
Ooh,
point.
the monk is running. So Dino's keeping her
That
chances
is-
staying alive in the game.
That is her last unit on the board. She does still have 5 relics though, so she's still getting gold income if nothing else. Alright, hand cannons here. We do have a group of camels, and we have some mangonels coming in. Let's see if they can find any value. 1 decent shot. Another good shot. Unfortunately, the hand cannons aren't bunched up enough. But we have Tarkans and camels coming in now to deal.
And that's
Which
a
is-
good size army.
Yeah,
And I think that will probably clear up all of these hand cannons that are
If
forward
they
right now.
engage at the same time. The camels are kind of looping away. They're coming back. The final armor upgrade is coming in for the Tarkans now. But
But the hand cannon, half of them are firing at buildings. So like the
and
DPS
there's-
is not there.
Yeah, and even though there's a lot of hand cannons in the field, they're all kind of scattered in little groups at this point. So yeah, the first set will be easily cleared up. And that is already really helpful, and you can see the army difference is 120 to 90 units right now, so heavily in favor of Team Chukunu. I'd like to see them hunt down this group of Hoofnies, right? For the damage value, but also for the problems that they can't cause if they're gone.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised Thorn's just sending his Hoofnies alone into the back of the base.
Yeah, I
Like,
mean, I understand trying to run them,
Yeah.
but bring the hand cannons, because this way I think the hand cannons are gonna...
Yeah,
Alright,
because I think
Weston chooses
those
to not
army
engage.
numbers are just they're too. It's a big enough mess that I
Yeah.
don't think that Thorn can take it anymore.
Yeah. Thorn is starting to send forward halbs. So Chukunu will want to collapse on these hand cannons quickly so they can be done. On the other hand though, Gumflinger does have a good group of pikes here, which are currently being upgraded to halbs, which can intercept those reinforcements. So the cavalry can take the fight against the hand cannons for free. And as I say that Tarkins will go ahead and withdraw again. Parker Potts is not sure. What you don't want to do is withdraw, come back, because then you're giving up a lot of time where they can hit you. But we'll at least whittle down this massive hand cannon significantly.
I think they're gonna win if they stop.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice, nice clear up. Like,
here you go.
Yeah,
and we are now,
only at 5-handed cannoniers now.
Yeah, he does have 25 more Q.
But so does Gunflinger. Gunflinger has plenty of house to be able to combat the house from Thorn, and you know that attack bonus that we're talking about previously.
Yeah.
There's no bonus attack versus Halbs. So Halb v Halb, really there's not an advantage for either player.
Yeah.
Now, Gunflingers do move slightly faster, but that doesn't really influence just head-to-head fights like this.
Yeah. Good job though from the Tarkins. We'll find the next group of hand cannons and collapse upon them, and I don't think they'll deny this castle, but they will, maybe. If they're retasked, they can just melt this castle. They don't even need to deny it, really. But they'll find some villager kills as it is. And while Thorin's Halbs are distracted in the front, this castle will be denied.
Yeah, and Weston is in on Dino's space and took out the monastery, so no more gold income.
Very nice.
And Dino is down to 1 monk.
Uh-oh, and the monk is moving forward towards the Tarkin.
Maybe she wants to convert one of the Tarkins?
Maybe.
See?
It's a dangerous game.
See?
Where's it
Maybe
going?
he's on a journey, a pilgrimage.
Yeah, the Tarkin mass
land.
will get cleared up finally between the hand cannons, castle fire, and the Halbs. But still have a Treb working away here, although there's a bunch more Hoofnies. And
Ranger does have a sizable army that's about to be kind of moving out, but a good chunk of that is Cav, which will do quite well versus the Halbs.
I don't think the Cav will do quite well versus the Halbs. I think the Cav will do quite poorly versus the Halbs.
Hate it.
Are you one of those Knights counter Pikes people?
I generally am, because I usually go Knights.
Alright, we do have Onagers by Gunflinger by now. And
a big back raid on Thorn.
Yeah. Ooh, yep.
Imperial Camel.
Yep.
In on his base.
It's a big problem, and on the other side, his line of Hoofnisas coming back might run into these Onager and Halbs, and that's 5 Hoofnisas that might be dead in a second. But yeah, big raids coming in. All of Thorin's main eco idle. Still's a little bit working way back there, but that's a big problem. And yeah, all the Hoofnis in the front were cleared. There's still this second group he has rolling around. But Thorin is kind of being hit in several places at once as the Tarkins came in and did some damage.
Yeah,
and the camels are still here.
Yeah, and you kind of see why you don't want to normally use Town Belt, right? Like, he run the Town Belt and almost his entire economy stopped working. Even though the camel were only in one little area attacking.
Yeah, all these farms
so
can
many
still be going.
farmers that are not working.
Yeah. But yeah, the eco lead is now 238 to 122. And more villagers being taken down by these Imperial Camel as the villagers task forward and the Halbs task away from the camels. So all these villagers, that is a massive raid for Weston now. Oh man, the Halbs will come back, but it's too late. I think all but that one villager that turned around go down here, and the camels just leave. They're like, hey, fine, that one villager can leave. Yeah. All right. Rangers army is here now. Big fight in the center. The Halbs are here. There's Tarkins here. The Hoofnies are firing away. Onagers are on the way, and that is a big group of hand cannons.
Oh, I want to see some juicy.
Where's the shots? Where's the shots?
shots?
Oh man, right. Oh, look at that.
Oh. I think that's the Onager shot of the tournament.
Yep.
Right there. That's so many units.
Finding some hits on the Hoofnies as well. But yeah, with those shots, all this military gets cleared up, and the Hoofnies have to run for their lives.
Yeah, and good choice to just kind of pull the Onagers back.
Yeah. Oh
you
man,
can't
that was beautiful.
deal any more damage.
All right, villagers moving around here from Parker Potts. I think they built this castle and are now fine. Ah, they're moving to this gold. Okay. But yeah, definite advantage at the moment for Chukonu. 140, almost 150 villagers ahead.
Ooh, the Imperial Camel are about to run right into the Halb of Thorin, so that's going to be a bit of a nasty fight. would have loved if she had kept him in the back and then just raided again.
Mm-hmm.
When the rest of the team was engaging in the front side.
Yeah, and yeah, Weston also needs to look at booming up a bit. She's on 22 villagers, and she is returning to her own home base. Got a TC up there, going to some gold. Does need to get her food eco as well again.
The nice part is she does have still 19 farms that are built, and so you should be able to gain access to that food.
Yep, that's a nice little boost. And I think Thorin's Halbs are about to run into this castle, which, to be fair, doesn't even have fletching, but still.
It's still a castle.
Ooh, yeah. However, the Hoofnies are coming, so I think that castle will eventually go down, unless, where are the Tarkans? Tarkans are in the center of the map. We have a big mass of Tarkan, Halb, Camel, and some Trebs as well, so big push potential coming through the middle. There are Halbs on the opposite side here lined up, though.
Which, I mean, with Gunflinger's onagers in the back. Ooh, Siege Onager is coming in with Fura Celtica.
Oh, man.
Yes, I called that
Let's
one.
Go!
Big
Siege.
Those Halbs are going to be short for the world. And you know you kind of want to push now, right? Like, you see a good-sized army from Thorin on that side.
Mm-hmm.
You've got 3 armies in the center. You're going to have the population advantage.
Yeah, and actually a bunch of the Halbs are moving over. Okay, no, they are coming back now. Yeah, go ahead. Engage Gunflinger's Halbs first, because those will trade the best against these Halbs. And there's no hand cannon here at the moment either.
I think this is some of the best army coordination I've seen in Castle Bracket games yet. Like, really been quite happy to see that.
Except for I don't know where the camels are right now.
I think they probably ran because all that was on the field was Halbs.
Okay, that's fair.
Since her economy is so weak, she probably just was like, I want to keep my
keep the army alive, and bring it back for an engagement where they'll actually bring more value. Most of the Halbs actually did get cleared up. There's still a group in the center. But definite numbers advantage for Gunflinger, and he is putting up a castle here as well, which will even further favor him in any fights. Oh, Bloodlines just now coming in for Hindustanis for Weston.
That was a good upgrade earlier.
Definitely gonna help the camels in the future.
I mean, it's gonna take the camels from what 140 HP to 160. Yeah, extra 20.
Ooh. Oh no, there it is. I thought Dino Dragon's monk went down, but it's still here and it's healing up this group of allies.
And Thorin's northern army just tasking right past Parker Potts gold villagers. It's like, you keep collecting. We're gonna come down to the center here.
Yeah, they might actually find these villagers though that are currently building a bunch of barracks that Parker Potts dropped, but she will see that army approaching and just pull the villagers, which is definitely the right move. Right. You're not going to get these barracks up, and even if you do, they're going to get smacked back down. Keep your villagers alive. Even deletes all the foundations, gets all her resources back. And
Alright, so it's going to be a nice coordinated attack on Parker Potts' base. Love to see Gunflinger move out with Siege Onager to kind of help.
Yeah. In general, I'd like to see Gunflinger move out. He's pop capped at 200 population, and he has a lot of resources in the back. So you can throw your entire army at this, and then build another army, and then throw that away, and then build another army, and then still have resources left over. As it is, unfortunately, it's just the Tarkin against the Halbs, which will go down, and the Halbs are going to be running across the base as the castle gets taken out by the Hoofnies. Camels are coming forward now.
Yeah, the camels and the Halbs
Halbs are coming. There we go. They're on the way.
And they're just going right past, trying to target those Hoofnies, which is going to significantly slow down the push of Thorin into...
Yeah, and the camels are coming in as well to help snipe those, and all the Hoofnies go down. Yeah, the last one goes down, and camels will disengage again, which is probably the correct choice. I think the Halbs can stay and play. Ooh!
Oh,
the
no,
monk!
No, last monk.
There goes.
Still is technically in the game because she has a market, so she could build, I think, some trade carts.
Yes.
Which
the onagers find some value onto Gunflinger's own Halbs. Only hit 2 of them, so it's not bad. Could have definitely been worse there. But yeah, looks like another army's gonna get cleared up, and again, the huge military and eco advantage at the moment for Team Shukunu, and I think now that you've cleared this army, I think you wanna start kind of moving forward. Even there's a
Yeah.
lot of help here. You can't maybe fight this directly, but you can drop another castle position a bit more forward, start trebbing away. Just cleared up a bunch of
Ooh.
Hoofnies.
Yeah, Ranger though getting some nice Vil snipes in the middle of Parker Pot's space. So
Yeah, there's
just
still
a couple
just a
knights
few
that
knights.
just were missed, and really annoying. Just
Yeah, and there's
Parker Pot's is
Tarkins
down
here
to
now to deal
48
with them,
Vils.
but yeah. Look at these!
And
Look at these knights from Ranger hiding behind the statue, though.
so sneaky.
Just like no,
Oh, that's
nobody
so
knows we're
sneaky.
here. Nobody knows we're here.
That's a good catch.
All right. Next army is ready from Thorin, but I have to say it's smaller than his previous armies were. He's starting to kind of hurt for resources. He does still have a lot of wood and food, but he's starting to run low on gold.
Yeah, I would like to see him come and take
Ooh.
those relics, right?
Nice onager shots on those knights. A nice micro to avoid that coming in. Unfortunately, half of those run into the help, so they'll still go down.
And they're coming back. They're hungry for more.
Ah.
And
Okay, Dino Dragons just attributed all her resources to Thorin and Ranger.
nice play.
And alright, Hoofnies are here and starting to hit this castle. And where's come on. Spawn. Here we go. Albs coming in. You have Onager, you have Siege on.
Yeah, those halves are kind of gonna eaten alive, but if
well,
the
they're
Siege Hunter just did one or two hits on the
diving for
that
the
mass, then
Hoofnies, which they
that
won't
army
get
size is gonna be so much smaller.
Yeah, and here come some shots. Okay, it's
yeah,
scattered.
targeting the hand cannons is a good play.
Yeah.
Ooh, the hand cannons are being tasked into the castle, but the castle is about to
big
go down,
onager shot! Oh, that was pretty. The castle does still go down, unfortunately, but those were some lovely shots right there, and that's significant. I think that was most of the hand cannons. Yeah, down to 9 now. So now the Halbs can run forward again. Tarkin's engaging against the Knights. And
where the camel from Weston? They're in the middle of her base. I think she's thinking about tasking around the backside again and seeing if she can do the same thing that she did to Thorn, and but to Ranger this time.
Ooh, another defensive castle coming up, but with those 6 Hoofnies still up, I don't think this is going to go up. Or it might complete, but it will die pretty quickly after. It's on 70%, yeah, I think it's going to be denied. Yep. Unfortunate, and heated shot for Gumflint. Is taking into some ranged units, so adding skirms, which is a solid choice, I think. And
I think he's just missing production buildings. Like he
Yeah.
only has.
yeah,
I mean, I guess he has 9 barracks, but a lot of his barracks are in the back of his base, so it's just a lot of walk time, and it's not producing siege onagers. Like the siege onagers, the heavy catalysts that have been swinging these fights.
Now, Thorin did just get a bit of a boost with all the resources that he got tributed, so we're seeing a bit more production militarily from him, but still kind of struggling to get hand cannon numbers out, and I think this is probably the last big ball of Hoofnies he can afford without having to do some heavy market usage. As 1,000 gold in the bank at the moment, but
Ooh, and we have siege onager coming forward inside the base. Are they gonna get any shots?
oh, yep, look at that,
1,
look at that.
2.
Not on the Hoofnies, unfortunately. They can't quite rage those. Oh, unfortunate. But oh, maybe. Oh, nice. Snipes one of them, hits another.
Oh, all right.
And if you look at Thorin's queue, it's empty, right? So
Yeah.
he's got a good army still, but he's still imperial. There you go. He queues up another 19 hand cannons, but with that he's out of gold. He has no more units or villagers left on gold.
And Gunflinger has 7 siege onager in queue and like 30 helps. Like he's gonna be able to reinforce his army fairly well.
Yeah, and on the other side, Parker Potts has pretty much completed her transition into Halbs as well. Has 40 of them on the field. Lots of barracks coming up, and got some trebs coming out.
And Weston is inside Ranger's economy.
Ooh, yep.
Somehow was able to sneak inside his base,
Yeah.
and yeah,
Yeah.
Rangers down to 20 bills.
Yeah, and a fair number of those are running back to Thorin's base, which is a good move to try and keep those alive. I think the rest are queued here. Ooh, we have Samurai taking the field now. Unfortunately, they have no attack or defense upgrades, so I think these camels are still going to beat them.
Ooh, we got a Siege Hunter shot on the Hoofnies. One went down. The other one's very, very weak inside of Gunflinger's base.
Yep.
So while he's taking some damage, I think he's able to kind of stabilize. And we have Halbs from Parker Potts now entering the fray.
And so even while, Thorin is kind of fighting 1v2 here, and so eventually these hand cannons will get... Ooh, another big shot takes out both of the remaining Hoofnies. Very nice there.
And that's the I think the key to stop this push.
Yeah. And
91 halves in Q for Gunflinger.
Yeah,
Wow.
and hand cannon numbers are dwindling. We're down to 8 hand cannons.
And
Thorin has 4 gold in the bank. Big shot. There we go. 3 hand cannons left. Yeah, I think Chukunu are going to win this one.
Yeah, they held long enough. Nice raids from West on. You know you can't take good fights because you're going to die. So look for areas that you can do damage with your army. Yeah,
and finding a lot of value, right? Finding raids on all 3 players of the enemy, actually, I think, at different points of the game.
Did get raided again because she's down to 8 villagers. Not sure what happened there.
Well, her villages were here. I think some houses were forward because there's still one task to a house of hers here.
Oh, I wonder if that was just... How many kills does that help have?
This help?
16,
and they're all eco kills. Yeah, it might have just been this help. Oh, man. Alright. But Ranger is in a rough spot. Down to 4 vills, actually. So the vills in the back got found or killed at somewhere.
Yeah, and they're hiding in his castle.
Yep.
That's the final vills that he has.
And... Oh! Dino Dragons did build a trade cart.
She did. She built it actually a while ago.
Okay, I missed that completely. I thought she tributed all her resources and went. Camels are diving under the castle now, though, and because Murder Holes is not in, this castle will go down, and I think that'll spell the end for Ranger as well here. Still has a handful of Samurai left, but that's about it. And
that forward position from Thorin is slowly but surely crumbling.
Yep, just continuous flood of halbs and Trebs here to back that up and knock down the buildings one by one by one. And at this point, halb is all that Thorin can produce. Yeah,
and is kind of suffering on the economic building side of things. He has a lot of resources still, 13,000 food in the bank, but just not able to utilize it.
And I think that's where he wants to look at market usage now, right? Go ahead, take some of that 13,000 food, sell 5,000 of it, sell 8,000 of it for gold. You can start producing hand cannons again, because that's what's been keeping this flood of halbs at bay for you. And even some Hoofnies again. But if you're not rebalancing, you're out of gold, and you can't do much. As the castle goes down, and Ranger is down to 1 knight and 6 samurai.
Yeah, but this is kind of what we were talking about in the center. Like, they finally got siege out. Like, if they had siege a while ago when they were combining their armies, I think they probably could have pushed Thorin a lot sooner. Yeah, but they just didn't have.
Well, they had Trebs once or twice that I think got sniped down by the
Hoofnies, maybe.
By the Hoofnies, yeah. Because that is the problem. As long as Thorin has Hoofnies on the field, he can very easily. Like, bombard cannons are already a pain to deal with when you're trying to push with Trebs. Hoofnies are so much worse.
For sure.
Alright.
Ooh.
Skirms from Thorin. They are missing the final armor upgrade. They are not elite skirms.
Does he have them? Oh, he does have a market. Okay. Like, sell some of that food to get a little bit of gold to kind of get your upgrades back up.
That, and he needs to add eco again. He's actually down to 70 villagers. Sorry, I was looking at the wrong. Okay. So he's still could be adding more. The halbs might take out these Trebs though.
I think they will, but there's a lot of halbs coming in from the
and
field.
Parker Potts is pulling the remaining Trebs away, so they'll be fine. We'll lose one, but just the one.
And the Imperial Camel about to run into some hounds from Thorin. So Thorin did retask part of his army to the back of the base, but very widely just choosing to run away.
Yeah, and forward castle, or this defensive castle, I guess, being rebuilt again by Gunflinger to secure this position, and going into archery ranges, so potentially looking at countering Skirm with Skirm. I think at this point, Halb is perfectly fine against these non-elite Skirms.
I would love to see some like Wood Raiders because
Yeah.
like the hand cannons are all
Ooh.
gone.
Yeah, Wood
And
Raiders would rip through all this, the buildings and the
yeah,
Skirms.
and they are just a cool unit, man.
That is also true. And at this point, yeah, I was gonna say Parker Potts should go back into Elite Tarkin, which is what she's doing.
And that will
Because
also shred the skirmishers.
yep, and also the buildings. Like, if you have Elite Tarkin, I'm fine with you going without siege at some point, because it's basically
like,
siege already.
It's like, we can nuke your buildings just fine. Thank you very much. I think one of the saddest part about this game is the 5 relics never were picked up by Thorin or by Parker Potts when they had the chance
Yeah,
to get them back.
just hanging out here, all alone and forgotten. So sad. All right, but yeah, these Tarkins are just kind of playing whack-a-mole with the skirms as they pop out. And this game is slowly but surely drawing to a close.
I think they're just a few minutes out from time limit, so I have a feeling they'll play it to the end just for
that's fair.
the
The night
glory of it, I guess.
the night goes down and Rangers out of the game. It was a valiant effort, but there was 11 Tarkins. The one.
And there's the resign from Thorin and from Dino.
Good game.
Good game.
Yeah,
that was an intense one. Like, got to see a little bit of action from every player, which was really cool to see.
Yeah, and a nice back and forth, and also good reactions of like teams deciding. I really like. I think one of the game-changing moves I saw was when the big ball of Thorin was pushing through the center. The decision by Parker Potts to go around the outside and raid and basically take out Dino Dragons, which forced a response out of Thorin while Weston also retreated, because each team kind of lost a player. But I feel like Chukunu did a much better job of capitalizing on that, and Weston did a really good job of also keeping Eco alive and keeping a ball of military alive.
Yeah, so it's still able to contribute despite losing most of the economy.
Yeah, and despite never having a big eco again, I mean, that ball of camels stayed alive basically to the end of the game. I think she produced some more because she had res left over.
I think so.
But yeah, did a really good job of conserving those, keeping those alive, finding engagements and raids wherever she could, but making sure she always kept them alive to be able to have impact further on in the game.
Yeah, yeah. There was a lot of side flanking attacks. Because you had Parker Potts and then you had Weston's like kind of looping fully around and raiding into Thorin's economy, which that dropped him down to like 70 in the 70s, I think, with the Vils.
Yeah.
Which freed up a lot of pop space for that massive army that he had, because I think he had like 134 at one point on the field.
Mm-hmm.
But he just wasn't able to keep up the production after that. So
yeah. We were sort of right about the sheep. Gunflinger never pushed on the outside here, and neither did Ranger, but actually it was Weston who kept coming through here with camels and raiding on the outside. Which was also good play. Found a lot of value like that, and was able, I think it was primarily Weston who took out Ranger's base.
Yeah, I believe so.
Cool. So this set ends in a 1-1. With each team taking a map and each team conceding one.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Well played, teams. Well played.
Well played. That is going to be all for today. Tomorrow.
Oof.
Yes, tomorrow we'll have the final round of Imperial Games, in which we'll have corner checkers versus castle droppers, I believe, and then Outpost Rushers playing Fast Castle Boomers to decide who takes first place in that bracket.
How
So yeah,
exciting!
feel free to drop by for that. Other than that, I'm gonna say it one more time. Please do go ahead and fill out the feedback form. Uh, we had we had some feedback during the tournament, which is fine, but we're not going to change this tournament during the tournament. However, it is something that is valued and taken into account. So if you had thoughts, things that you liked, things that you didn't like, things that you wanted to see change, or things that you felt went really well, um, throw that in there. It's so we can, this tournament has been getting ever better every year, and we want to continue that trend, right? And yeah, I think that's all I got.
Sounds good.
All right. Well, on that note, have a good night, everyone. I think community games are still an hour or two out, actually. This set was a bit
I know.
shorter than I expected. But yeah, I think, I guess to be fair, the Castle Age sets are only 4 games, while
It
the
is,
Imp sets are
and
6 games,
and we
which, yeah.
also had a very very long 2 sets with the Imperial bracket last time, so anything is going to feel shorter than that round of games, I think.
My headset just died. I missed what you said.
Oh, I said, to be fair, we also had some very long sets from the Imperial bracket,
That is
like
true.
the stream
Yeah,
before. So anything's
yeah,
going to feel short compared to that because I
that
think
is
it was
true.
like a 4.5 hour uh, stream or something like that.
Yeah, yeah, that was particular, which isn't bad. But yeah. Okay. Well then, I'm gonna go ahead and shut down the stream for tonight. Have a good evening, everyone. Enjoy the games if you're playing those. Thank you for dropping by, and hope to see you again tomorrow.
All right, good night all.